Okay, welcome to the next Blender tutorial. So you can see that I've currently made a little bit of a setup right here, and that's because we're going to make some projections with text today. So what we've got here is a little bit of a background, and then we've got the camera that I currently haven't set up to the correct direction, but I will do that in the end. So what we're going to start off with is go to your render engine and make sure that you have cycles selected under render engine rather than Eevee. We're going to go ahead and add in a light, and we're going to add a spot. So let's go with G and bring this up. We're going to go ahead and rotate this spotlight toward our little setup right here. R for rotate and G to move across, and I'm going to go S for scale just to bring this up a little bit, and G just to move this back. So when we go ahead to the render viewport right here on top, we should have something like this. Now this light currently, if we go to the light right here, we can improve the power, we can improve the exposure. Also what I would say is let's go ahead, go back to regular render, and just go ahead and press the little dot on the front right there. You should be able to move that across to where you need it to be. This will go wider and it will also go to the side. Let's go with G and just bring this forward real quick. To improve the lighting on here, just move it up. You see with the power right there at the side, this light's now going up. So I'm going to go ahead and just press G and move this back just a little bit, and then I'm just going to rotate this toward our object right here, and G to move back and G to move to the side as such. So when we want this text on here, let's go ahead and go to shading, and what we're going to find is emission and light output. So we're going to go ahead and add image, texture, color to color, and open, and what you want to do is find a picture for this. So I've just previously made one, so let's go ahead and find that. I've got so much on my computer right now. Right, so yes, I've got the folder right here, so let's go ahead and add this onto here. It should. Okay, so with our image right here, when we click our file, we should have our file just here. So you're going to want to go and make a little file in a design studio or something like that, or like something akin to Carita, or you could have an image if you wanted to. So now we should have this projected on the side of our piece, and we could go ahead and strengthen this. And if you wanted a little bit more contrast, go to the world settings, and we can deepen the shadows just here. So now we've got this nice little bounce coming through as well. I'll go ahead and just put this on the layout real quick. So we'll rotate this around so you guys can see. So this is projected text, and this is what it will look like when you do so. So yeah, this is kind of a small tutorial just to show you how to do this and how to project things onto different objects. I hope to see you guys in the next tutorial. Please like, subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. Bye. If you're interested in anything past Blender, I'm also a published author. I write novels, I write puzzle books, self-help books, all that kind of stuff. I don't have many copies with me at the moment to show you guys, but I have plenty on my Amazon that you can explore, and I also have plenty on my Google accounts that you can explore. Yeah, so if you like this tutorial, please like, subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. Have a great day. If you're interested in anything past Blender, I'm also a published author. I write novels, I write puzzle books, self-help books, all that kind of stuff. I don't have many copies with me at the moment to show you guys, but I have plenty on my Amazon that you can explore, and I also have plenty on my Google accounts that you can explore. Yeah, so if you like this tutorial, please like, subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. Have a great day. Glowing 001, we're going to put this as glowing 2. And now we can alter the colours that we originally had. So we can take this green right here, And we can make this a pink. And you'll notice that it's now different from this one. We can now go ahead and we can take the white and... Okay, welcome to the next tutorial of Blender. So what we're going to be making today is we're going to be making a potion bottle. So I'm going to go ahead and get rid of the default cube and we'll come over to render. We'll switch out EV to cycles and we'll go ahead and, I mean, you could use a UV sphere for this, but to be honest with you, I think we have more control with the circle. So let's go ahead and add this to our scene. Let's go ahead and go to edit mode. And you'll notice that all these little points come up right here. We don't currently have a face. So let's press F for fill for face. And we're going to go E for extrude and just bring this up slightly. Now, what I'm going to do is let's go to a side view on this side so you guys can see what's going on. So we just press 1 for side view. And we should be able to get it there. Now, if you don't have the accountant's number pad on the side, don't worry about it. All you need to do is just go to view and you should have viewpoint just at the top right here. And then you've got all these options right here to see the object however you would like. So we have the base right here. We have the top that's already highlighted. I'm just going to go ahead and press S for scale, just to pull this outwards a little bit, just to give it a little bit of a bevel. Let's go E for extrude. We'll do E for extrude again. Bring it up just ever so slightly. S for scale to bring this outwards. E for extrude again. And then S for scale to bring this outwards. So we're going to start to make a little bulb here. So just imagine that there's a circle here. Just try and make that as circle as possible. If you need a little bit of a guide, let's go back to object mode real quick. We can go to add and we could go with UV sphere. This is just to guide you around kind of a circle. We could place this here and we could kind of just have this just here. So let's go 1 for side view again. And if you go up to the top right here, which is toggle X-ray, you can see through both objects, which will essentially give you kind of a little bit of a traceable line to go around the outside here. That's totally up to you if you want to do that. I'm going to remove mine just for the moment. So let's go back to this object right here. Go to edit mode. If you still need that, don't delete it. You can delete that one afterwards. So we've got the base right here. We can go with G just to bring this up just ever so slightly. We can go E for extrude, S for scale, E for extrude again, S for scale, E for extrude, S for scale, just bring that out into a nice little bowl shape. And then E for extrude, S for scale, E for extrude, and just start to bring your design round just ever so slightly to where you need it to be. I think my one's just going to be a little bit off the circle, but that's fine. Okay, so now we have this kind of shape. What we're going to do is make the neck of the bottle. So I'm just going to press G just to bring this down just ever so slightly, just here. Going to go E for extrude, S for scale, and then we'll go E for extrude and bring this right up. E for extrude again, S for scale just to make this little bottle neck, and this will be the top of the bottle right here. And then E for extrude again, just bring it up just slightly, S for scale to give it that little bevel. We'll go E for extrude, leave it where it is, click, S for scale, so this is now flat, and now we have the top of the bottle right here. Now, depending on how thick the glass is that you would like for this project, if you want it quite thin, we're going to place the edges quite close to these edges, and if you want it quite thick, then it's going to be a very shallow bowl on the inside. So we're going to go on the inside at the moment. Let's go ahead, if you haven't already, toggle X-ray, which should be at the top. If you need to scroll, just use the center scroll wheel and everything should move like this. So yeah, toggle X-ray, make sure that's selected. We'll go E for extrude, and then we're going to use the center wheel right here just to bring this down. as such. So this little orange bit now is on the inside, as you can see. So as I said with the glass thickness, this is going to be quite thin right here, but we can make this thicker at the bottom if you wanted to. E for extrude, bring this down. S for scale. E for extrude, bring this down. S for scale. Perhaps with this one, I'm just going to go ahead and... Sorry, 1 second. I'm just going to go ahead and click 7 to heaven. And then do X-ray so you guys can see the inside from the top view. So let's go ahead and just move that across as such. E for extrude, bring this down. And then S for scale. And you'll notice that you can see that on the inside right there. We'll go E for extrude again, bring this down. Let's go S for scale. E for extrude, bring this down. And usually, when glass is blown, it tends to be thicker at the bottom. So, we'll go ahead and just bring this in just ever so slightly. E for extrude again. S for scale, bring this down. As such. And I'm just going to go ahead and round this off on the inside. Just as such. So, once we've got something like this, let's take off this X-ray mode. The base right here, let's select the faces just at the side. We want to kind of pull this in just a little bit. So if we go 1 again, X-ray mode, E for extrude, leave it where it is. S for scale, bring it in just slightly. And then E for extrude again. And just kind of make a little bulb just in the middle as such. So now you should have something like this. We're going to go right click shade smooth. So now we've got the inside of the bulb. We've got the outside of the bulb right here. And we have kind of a little place where you can put a lid if you'd like to do that. The next thing that I would say that we should do is let's go ahead and add a little bit of liquid on the inside. So ignore the caps lock, I pressed the wrong one. So let's go ahead with the circle again. Mesh, circle. You can see that it appears right here at the bottom. We're going to press G, bring this up, bring this right to the bottom right here. S for scale, bring this down. Let's go to edit mode. You're going to press F for fill. We're going to go E for extrude, bring this up. S for scale, and all you're going to do is just follow the inside of the bottle. So E for extrude again. S for scale. Whoops. Just try and get that as close to the original as you possibly can. E for extrude. S for scale. Now you can go ahead and have a little bit of liquid in here or a lot of liquid in here, depends on your preference. So we can just pull that out there. E for extrude. It doesn't have to be perfect if you don't want it to be. That's fine. I'm going to leave mine just there. Let's go to object mode, right click shade smooth. So now we have this nice little bulb kind of potion bottle. Let's go ahead and add a plane underneath. And I'm going to take off this X-ray mode and let's go ahead and just get rid of this atom split right here. There we go. Okay, so let's go with materials to begin with. So you're going to need this bar right here at the side. I may move myself over. Boop, 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 boop. There we go. I'm going to sit and fit right here. So the next thing that you need to do is these are the tabs at the side that can change your objects, change everything that Blender sees, or you see for Blender. You're going to go to the bottom one that looks like a little bit of a pink world, which is material. Let's go to new, and you'll be presented with a surface and a material 001 and a principal BSDF. Now with this, we're going to go ahead and name this material, just double click on it, as glass. And for the surface, what we're going to do is go and click the principal BSDF. The drop down menu should come down and you should have glass BSDF underneath. So with this, you're going to go ahead and turn down the roughness. Now, it doesn't look much like glass at the moment, so I'm just going to turn off the toggle X-ray and we'll go to the viewport shading rendered, which is at the top right here. And you can see that if we just turn this around, this is starting to look a little bit more glass-like. Now, if we mess around with the IOR, you can see that we get different effects on our model. So I believe the lower the IOR is, the thinner the glass should look. And the higher the IOR is, the thicker the glass should look. So we could have something like this. Now, if you want to change this liquid on the inside, I'm going to go ahead and just delete the default light for a moment. So, yeah, let's go back to the wireframe mode for a moment. We'll select the liquid on the inside of the bowl. Go back to your materials. We'll click new. This one will be glowing material. Let's go to Principal BSDF and we want to go to emission. So I'm going to make this kind of like a funky green. And when we go back to the render port right here, we now have this very glowy, nice kind of green potion going on. So this is kind of a very cool thing that we can do. We can also alter the strength of this. We can turn this off, we can turn this on, we can turn this super bright, super dark, whatever you want to. If you want to add some texture in here, we can go ahead to the shading tab right here that's at the top. And what we can do, we've got our emission and we've got our material output right here. Now, don't get worried about this. The first time that I ever saw something like this and I went to the shader tab, I went, oh my gosh, what does that mean? It's very simple. It's just plug and play, essentially. Just experiment with it if you're a little bit nervous with it, see what it does. It might take a while, but, you know, it's good to experiment. I like experimenting. So we'll go with noise texture. And I'm just going to turn on the render right here so you guys can see what happens. So we have this nice little glowy green kind of thing. We've got our emission going on. We're going to go noise texture, colour from the noise texture into colour for the emission. Now you'll see that this has now changed into this kind of weird, multicoloured, essentially candy floss kind of looking kind of situation. That's the only way that I can describe it. But it's still an emission. It's still creating light around the outside and we can still alter the strength of the light as well. So I'm going to go ahead and just grab this and just place this to the side because we're going to need another little component right here. So let's go ahead and add in a colour ramp. So you want to spell this as colour as the Americans do. Colour ramp, let's go with colour ramp. There we go. Right, okay, so I don't know anyone else who spells colour with C-O-L-O-R. It's only the Americans that I've known, really. But yeah, it's just your language, I guess. But for us, it's O-U-R. So yeah, we'll go with this one. So we want this a nice lime green. Let's go ahead and just change that component right there to this nice lime green. You've also got black and white on here as well, and if you slide the black across, you'll start to get these little pieces in here, right here, and if you slide the white across, it'll start to contrast a little bit more on the opposite side as well, as you can see, but this is still an emission, so it's not going to lose any lights doing this. So I'm just going to put in a little bit of black there. I'm going to put some green. The whites can come through, and let's press plus again, and let's put another one just here, but let's have like a yellowy orange, like a really bright yellowy orange. Let's see what happens with that one. If we just bring it up just a little bit, it's going to add a little bit of tone to that white, just kind of offset it just a little bit, as you can see just right there. So you could have this as a nice little potion going on. Let's see, if you wanted let's go to layout real quick. You could also place some stuff in there if you wanted to, mess around with the settings. You've got pass index. As I said, just experiment with this. You've got line art, you've got viewport display as well, so you can take down the roughness if you wanted to on this, or increase it. You can have a little bit metallic just pulled in there. Since this is a liquid, it's probably going to have a little bit of metallic to begin with. You could try sphere from shadow. I'm just going through the different settings here that you can have. I would say just experiment with all of this stuff. That would be cool. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to make another one. So let's box select this. So just hold in and then just kind of drag it across. Maybe doing this on wireframe is going to be a lot better, so you can select everything. Make sure you don't select the camera in the background. Let's go with Shift D, move this across. And we're going to make a secondary one here, but we're going to change the colours. So let's go with shading. So you'll notice both of these are the exact same colour right here. So let's go ahead. And what I want to do, let's go wireframe, select the material on the inside. Let's go to render again. You'll notice that this one is called glowing. So this is the exact same material as the opposing one that we've just made. We want to duplicate this, but we want the exact same settings. So we're going to go with new material right here, which is just selected. Where's my camera at? I'm like the opposite. So, there, somewhere. So, new material right here, just in the mid-center of the screen. We'll click that one. So now we've got glowing 001. We're going to put this as glowing 2. And now we can alter the colours that we originally had. So we can take this green right here and we can make this a pink. And you'll notice that it's now different from this one. We can now go ahead and we can take the white and move it to the side if you wanted to. So now you've kind of got this nice little pinky kind of amber kind of look. If you wanted to, you could make another flask and make a completely different one. Let's go ahead and select everything right here. Shift D. So now we've got this pink one. We're going to go ahead and click new material. So this is going to be glowing 0012. We're going to change that up to glowing 3. And we will change this pink out for, let's go with a blue. So now we have a blue one. I'm just going to go ahead and move these. I've kind of put them at a wrong distance. These two are quite close. I just want to move these so you guys can see the emissions. Alright, so the base as well. For the plane that we've put down here, we don't actually have a material, so let's go with new. And then we'll turn the roughness all the way up. So we can see that light a little bit more. And then I'm going to go ahead and go to the world scene, to the colour on this one, and make this black. So this is more luminous now. So you can see how the emission's working, and you can see how the colours are kind of coming through. I would say personally experiment with this and just see what you can do with it. Yeah. If you guys like this tutorial, please like, subscribe. I'm trying to get up to the partnership level at the moment. I'm just under 1,000 watch hours, so hopefully I'm going to be getting it soon. But yeah, we'll see what happens, I guess. I will see you guys in the next tutorial. Thank you for watching. Have a good day. Bye. Okay, welcome to the next Blender tutorial. So today we're going to be making let's see, we're going to be making a phone case. So let's go ahead and get rid of this default cube. We're going to go with 7 to Heaven. What I'm going to do real quick is I'm going to go ahead and place in the dimensions for my phone screen. So we're going to go to render, change out EV to cycles, and we'll go ahead and go to output. You want to go for the resolution, which is X and Y. So just type in by pixel how big your phone screen is. And that's all you really need for the beginning of this tutorial. So I'm 3088 by 1440. Here we go. Okay, so let's go ahead and click view. And what you want to do is align camera to view. So because you're from directly to the top, this should align to view as such. Okay, so I think I made a little oopsie right there. I need to put these in the opposite places. So let's go for 1440 to make that tall, and then we'll have the opposite one, which is 3088, which should be like that. Okay, so let's go ahead and add in a plane. Let's go ahead and scale that up, and then you just want to go ahead and just scale this to the sides as well. Now I'm going to go ahead and split the atom right here, just for the middle. And I'm going to go ahead and remove the default light as well, because we're not going to need that. Let's go ahead and start off with a cylinder. S for scale, just to bring this down a little bit. G to bring this up. And what I'm going to do, let's go ahead with shade smooth, right click shade smooth. We'll go with Shift D, bring this down, and then just elongate this underneath and just shrink it down just ever so slightly. So this is going to be an emission at the back right here. So let's go with material, and we will go ahead and click new. This will be the lighting, so let's put that as lighting right there. Change out the principal BSDF under surface to emission, and then we're going to change this one right here, which is the top one, to a black. So let's go with that one right there. Okay, so once we've got this, let's go ahead and add in a couple more cylinders. We'll do with S for scale, bring this up, S for scale, bring this down, and S for scale, bring this up again. We'll go right click shade smooth, and all we're going to do is just move these around into random positions. So if I just go with G, move this one over here, let's go with Shift D, maybe put one here, Shift D, put another one here, and just randomly place these all over the canvas that we've just created. And then what you can do is just click all of these that we've just made. Don't click the background. If you have clicked the background, just double click. Shift D, click, leave it where it is. For rotating, you're going to want to go with 180 as such. So now you've got all these little points. Now you can put some more of these in if you want to. You can go ahead and grab some of these. Oops, don't grab the camera. You can go Shift D. Come on, move these down. Rotate them a bit if you wanted to. Let's go ahead and do some of the samely stuff on this side. For rotate, just randomize them really. You can go ahead and move certain ones to different places depending on what you want. Now make sure the circle at the center right here is on the black texture. I believe these ones, let's go to this drop down, these all should be black. Hopefully. Oh, they're not. Okay, that was a bit deceiving, but go ahead and just click the drop down right there. You can go ahead and make them different colors if you want to. Totally up to you. I'm just going to go ahead and fill these in as black, and maybe we'll leave some of these white as well. Got like a nice little piece. Yeah, I'm probably going to leave it just like that as such, and then maybe we could take some of these and do a new material and put gold in here. Oops. Yeah, let's try that again. Okay, so turn up the metallic, turn down the roughness, however rough you'd like this, and then we'll go for like a nice orange or something like that. Let's go ahead and click this one. We'll change this one to gold. We'll change this one to gold. And you can just do this randomized. Okay, so the next stage is the lighting under here. Now if we go to render, you'll see that the lighting's not very strong. So all you need to do is just up the strength of this light as such. So what you're going to get now is kind of like this nice little tone going on. I'm going to go ahead and actually take the background right here and maybe bring up that roughness. Let's take that, let's go to materials, we'll go new. And then for this one, we're just going to go ahead and pull up that roughness when it decides to let me. Okay, yeah, so we have this roughness right here, but I think that the lighting is a little bit too bright for the background, so what you could do instead, you could go ahead and darken this if you wanted to, if that's something that you'd like. And you could also take some of the shine off some of these pins as well. And what I'm going to do, actually, because the pins are going through the bottom right here, let's go ahead and just edit some of these. So, this is our canvas right here. We can go ahead and take this pin, this pin, this pin, and this pin. And we can go with G. And we're just going to bring them up. So they're a little bit taller, it just gives that a little bit more depth. Kind of just an arty kind of look. And then we can take a few of these pins and we can press G and bring them down. So they're a little bit shorter, so it makes the rest of the pins look a little bit longer. Totally up to you what you want to do. I would say, to be honest with you, I'm going to take all of these. Let's go and box select these ones at the bottom as well. Shift D, click. R for rotate, and you're just going to go ahead and go 180. And then just press G and just move them down just ever so slightly. So there's that little variation. And you've kind of got this nice, kind of funky, kind of phone background. You can go ahead and put your time at the top so it kind of pops outwards a little bit more. Messages or anything come up here. So yeah, it's kind of like a nice little project that you can do. You could add some pollution lighting at the edges. So what I mean by that is you could go ahead and add, we'll go lights, point, where's my point at? Let's go with G, just to move it to the side and move it up. So if we increase the exposure right here, you can see that the lighting comes through on this side as well. So you can go ahead and change that to a blue or something like that. So you've kind of got this double lighting going on kind of situation. Alternatively, if you wanted to, you can go ahead and change the lighting underneath the board. It's like a red or something, and it kind of gives that more depth, kind of a deeper tone. Yeah, experiment with it, see what you can do with it. Basic lighting tutorial for you guys for a phone background. And I will see you in the next one. Thank you for watching. Bye. If you're interested in anything past Blender, I'm also a published author. I write novels, I write puzzle books, self-help books, all that kind of stuff. I don't have many copies with me at the moment to show you guys, but I have plenty on my Amazon that you can explore, and I also have plenty on my Google accounts that you can explore. Yeah, so if you like this tutorial, please like, subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. Have a great day. Okay, welcome to Blender. So today we're going to be making a desktop background. So I'm going to go 7 to heaven right here, delete this default cube, and we're going to go ahead and add in a plane. S for scale, bring this up just a little bit, and we'll go ahead and we will add, let's go to view, align camera to view. So I'm going to go ahead and just make the square the same length right here. So we're going to need the lighting, so let's go with G, bring this to the side. This will be on the outside of where our camera is. So what I want you to do is go to the render engine, change our EV to cycles, and what we'll do is let's go ahead and add in. So add, we'll go with cylinder. We're going to go ahead, shade this smooth, scale this upwards, and then S to scale this down. So these are going to be kind of the abstract pieces that we have in this. So what we can do, 7 to heaven again. We've got all these nice little cylinders kind of coming in just here. Let's go for the view with the camera. And we can go ahead and sort this into what we need to. So let's go ahead and change these into, say, gold kind of pieces, metallic up, roughness down. Let's go with Shift D, move this across, G, move this down, And then we'll go Shift D. And you just want to kind of move these into just random places, just along the sides of where we need them. So, at the moment, we have the lighting from this side, and you can see that this is coming from that side. So let's go ahead and click this light. We'll go ahead and improve the exposure just a little bit so we've got a little bit more light coming through. We're going to go ahead, Shift D, move this across to the opposing side. And we can just kind of make some shadows like this. Let's go with blue for this one. It's got this nice blue coming through. We can go Shift D again. Move this to the bottom right corner. Sorry, yes, bottom right corner. Where it decides to duplicate it. Come on. There we go. Okay. So, this bottom one right here, we can change this to a red. Just kind of push that to the side right there. I'm going to tone down the red just a little bit with the exposure. I think it's just a bit too much. But we could have something like this. And then for the backdrop, we could kind of do, I don't know, if you wanted a slight metallic, you could. And just keep that roughness at bay. So you've kind of got that red coming through, and you've got the blue and stuff like that. I mean, I think the white's a little bit overpowering, so we could go ahead and just tone that down as well. So I'd say like it's kind of a unique background for a computer. It's just something to kind of experiment with, I guess. And you can go ahead and add some more of these little cylinders in here. Shift D, move this one across. I just kind of experiment with the lighting, really. Just see what you can do with it. Yeah, if you like this tutorial, please subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. Bye bye. Okay, welcome guys to the next Blender tutorial. So today we're going to be making a food kiosk. So this particular project is going to combine a lot of different objects, to be honest with you. What I'm going to do, let's start off with changing the render engine from Eevee to Cycles, and I'm going to go ahead and press S for scale on the default cube, and then I'm going to go ahead and press S to make this a little bit bigger so that we've got a bigger surface to work with. I'm just going to press S for scale and make that floor a little bit more thinner as such. Okay, so this is going to be the base for our kiosk, and what I'm going to do, I'm going to get rid of the lights to begin with, and then I'm going to go ahead, and this camera can stay for the moment, but I am going to move it at some point. So let's go ahead and add in another cube right here. I'm going to go ahead and just make this as the wall, so S for scale. It would be great if you guys can see the screencast keys. So we're going to go with G, bring this across, and I'm going to press G just to bring this up. So this is going to be one of the side walls right here. Let's go ahead with edit mode real quick, and we'll go to the face tab. We're going to select the faces. Now essentially what you want to do is make this come across to here. So you're going to leave just a slight little gap just for a little bit of detailing on this side, and then we're going to go ahead and press G and bring this across onto this side. Use the axes by pressing in the center scroll as well. And what I'm going to do here, let's go with Control R, and we're going to go ahead and just make a secondary wall just right here. So let's go with selecting faces again. We'll go for E for extrude, and we're just going to bring this across. Now, this is going to be a kiosk, so what we're going to do is bring up this wall, and this wall right here. Just press G, and just go ahead and just pull that up to where you need it to be. So this is going to be the two back walls, the front of the kiosk right here. And then we're going to do the roof with another material, because I feel like I want to do the roof, but I don't want a flat roof on the inside. I want a roof that kind of goes inwards and becomes concaved, so to speak. So let's go ahead and go back to the object mode real quick. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to make this background and this floor black. Let's go to material. we'll go new, and what I'm going to name this is default black. And we're going to go ahead and make it slightly metallic. So you can go ahead and come over to your viewport shading, which is rendered. We'll change this white to a black right here. You want to take down the roughness a little bit so it's slightly metallic, and pull the metallic upwards. So you've got that nice little shine. For the base right here, we're going to go ahead to this drop down next to material and select default black. So all of this will be default black. So now we're going to go ahead and make essentially the foreground of this piece. So what I'm going to do, let's go ahead first and foremost, and we're going to make the counter. This is going to be kind of like a really easy kind of build, and we're going to duplicate the countertop onto this as well. So let's go ahead with add. We'll go cube again. Let's go with G. And you want to go ahead and just place this just on the surface just there. So let's go ahead and go to edit. Let's go to edit mode. I'm going to go ahead and select the face on this side. Let's press G, bring this forward. You're going to want a nice little lip just on the inside right here, because we're going to add a few little bits of lighting around that area. So let's go just to the edge just there, and then we'll take this one just to the edge just here. So once we get to this point again, we're going to go ahead and do what we did with this wall, which is Shift R, Control R. So you've got this nice little cut right there. You can go 7 to heaven if you want to, just to get your proportions correct. You can press G and move this line across if it's a little bit too small or a little bit too big for you. So I'm just going to go ahead with that one, because this one from here to here is roughly 2 squares anyway. This one from here to here is just roughly 2 squares. So let's select the face right here. Let's press you can go E for extrude on this side. You can have like a little doorway if you wanted to, like a little kind of hatch where stuff can get in and out. So yeah, you could totally make like a little hole right there. We're going to go with select the faces for these ones at the top as well, and we'll just press we'll press G just to bring these up. So you want these roughly to standing height. So I'd say roughly about there. I'm going to go ahead and take this face, and I'm going to go E for extrude, leave it where it is. We could go ahead and just ignore that 2 for 1 second. Let's select that face again. Going to go E for extrude, we're going to bring it in just slightly. So let's go S for scale. I'm just going to give it a slight border just around the outside. So let's go with Control Z just for 1 second. S for scale. You just want to give it that nice little border just here. I think this face might be a little bit too far in. 1 second. So if I just select this face, if it's not equal, you can do this yourself. You can just bring this back out. Let's get rid of that one. Okay, so let's select this face. Let's see what happens here. Let's press G. Bring this across. I still need to backspace. I think I've extruded it a little bit too much. Let's go to the X-ray. Press G. There we are. So, if this ever comes forward past this, it means this is extruded a little bit too much. So we'll press G and just move this across. I did have some issues with this program in my last tutorial as well, so I'm not too sure whether it's a dodgy download or what's happened. There's some sort of error with some of the stuff in this that I've noticed. So there are a few bugs within 5.0 that clearly haven't been ironed out. So yeah, let's go ahead and press E for extrude, S for scale, and we're going to go ahead and just remake what we were originally going to make. So we've got this right here. So this, if we E for extrude and bring this back, this is actually a great opportunity to have, you know, like when you go to a cinema or a theatre and you've got those popcorn making machines and they show you the popcorn at the front of the counter. This is probably like one of the best things that you could do with this project, and make this plane a wall. Let's make this plane a wall. Make this plane a glass panel, so to speak. so that you can see through it and you can see the products and stuff like that. It's kind of like a nice little design that you can do. I actually might do this on this side. This looks pretty cool to do. And then on the opposite side, we can just have some like underlighting or something, because obviously you've got that little pass-through for the staff that's going to go here. So it wouldn't make any sense to have a glass cabinet here, because you'd have a lot of traffic coming through. And, you know, can you imagine, like, hygiene standards and stuff? That's a lot of dust. So, yeah, you're probably going to have, like, an open cabinet on this side rather than that side. So, yeah, let's go with this being here. And then this side, we can kind of, like, duplicate the effect, but we're just going to have lighting. So, let's go E for extrude, leave it where it is, S for scale. And then we can go ahead and just scale this outwards, and then E for extrude, and then we'll scale this inwards. We can fit some strip lighting there. And we could probably put a menu just there, and maybe some special deals and stuff like that. So, yeah, these pillars we could do the exact same with if you wanted to. Totally up to you. I'm going to backtrack this just to make this a little bit more neater, I think. Right, okay, so if we go E for extrude on this side, S for scale, bring this in. You just want to make this the exact same height as this one, roughly. So, let's standardize this just a little bit. Okay, so E for extrude, bring this in. Just to about that. And then we'll go with this side. So, we'll go E for extrude, S for scale. Try and get on the exact same level as this side. And then E for extrude, just bring that in. Just to there. And then we can do this one. So E for extrude, S for scale, bring it to roughly the same height. S for scale again, just to bring that outwards. And then we can go E for extrude and bring this back. So now we have this nice standardized counter going on that's equal from this side all the way around and equal from this side all the way around. So it's a little bit neater. So now let's go, and I think we should start building some cabinets in the back here. We could definitely do that. But also I want like a little bit of a tuck just there. So we could go ahead and add. Let's go to object mode, add, and we could go with cube. Let's go G, bring this across. Bring this into the middle right here. We can go S for scale, bring this down. If you guys haven't saved already, maybe now is the best opportunity to save your work. Because if this crashes, you're going to lose it all. I do remember at one point Blender used to auto-save, but I don't know if it does it anymore, you know what I mean? So I'm just like telling you guys, like, you know, saving right now is probably going to be your saving grace. Let's go with G, bring this across. You just want to sit it just in the middle right here, sits it fits kind of situation. S for scale, bring this outwards, and then G just to kind of finalize the design right here. You're going to want a couple of hinges just here as well. We could put like a little kind of swing door on this side as well if you wanted to, because some of them do have swing doors to stop kids from going underneath. I used to work in a restaurant at one point. We used to have staff only places, and you won't believe how many kids would just like walk into the kitchen because the barrier that the boss had put up, like, it was designed for adults to stop adults from walking through, but it doesn't stop a 4-year-old from walking underneath it, you know what I mean? Like, they clearly didn't think about that. But yeah, a swing door would be great here. So I'm just going to go ahead and add the hinges to this right here, and then we'll investigate that swing door. So let's go right click shade smooth on this, R for rotate, and we'll go 90 degrees, S for scale, bring this down. And I'm going to go ahead and just place it on top of the counter. Let's go with G. You can put these underneath, actually. If it's, yeah, if... I'm trying to think, because this is not going to swing down, it's going to swing upwards. So, yeah, the hinges would be on this side. Yeah, I think they'd be on the top. So, yeah, let's go ahead with G, bring this down. And we'll bring this across just to here. So this is just going to be like a temporary kind of thing. You can make more detail with this if you wanted to, but to be honest with you, because it's so small, it's like a minute detail compared to everything else. So to be honest with you, I'd probably just have it like as a small little hinge. So let's go with new. I'm going to go ahead and name this material as hinge. We'll name this bronze. Hinge bronze. Go ahead and get a nice yellowy orange. If you guys want the exact same tone as me, just type in the hex at the bottom, which is this little bit right here. And then we're going to go with metallic, bring that up, roughness down. I need a bit more orange in that. Just a tad. Maybe a bit darker. About there. Okay, so we've got no light currently in the scene, but this is kind of the tone that we're going to get. So I'm going to go Shift D. We're going to go ahead and move this up. So if you press 1, it's going to go to here. If you press 0.5, it's going to go to here. I think we're going to work with 0.5. It depends on how big you made your piece, to be honest with you. So depending on that as well, just placing your own numbers. Let's go with G. Just bring them across so they're nice and uniform, sat in the middle. And then maybe we could have hidden hinges kind of thing rather than placing huge metallic bits either side. I mean, I think that looks okay the way that it is, to be honest with you. Okay, so once we've got this, I think we should introduce some lighting, but also I'd like to introduce the roof. And then I could do some more internal stuff. But because we don't have the roof at the moment, we can actually work better on the internal stuff than if we had the roof. Although, to be honest with you, the roof would be a separate entity from all this anyway. So, I mean, like, you could just remove the roof and put your stuff in. Yeah, totally up to you how you want to do it. I'm just looking at my notes just to make sure that I've got everything that I need. Okay, so, we need. I'm just going to go ahead and put a plane underneath this. So let's go S for scale. Let's place that underneath. And I'm going to go ahead with this plane and just make it kind of like a grey on materials. So I'll call this as grey. Oh. Yeah. No, come on. Grey. There we go. Alright, so once we've got this, I'm going to make this slightly metallic as well. It's kind of got this nice little reflection. So when we render it and we've got all of the lighting and the RGB in the back here, it'll kind of shine and it'll look nice. So, once we've got that, this is a big project compared to what I usually do for you guys. We're going to make the countertop. So the countertop, I kind of want everything uniform with the same tones and the same colours, but sometimes it doesn't work out like that. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to go to the drop down. Let's go to default black. And what I'm going to do right here is I'm going to go ahead and duplicate this. So we'll go new material. So this will change to default black 001 for new material. It's this little kind of paper icon at the back here next to the shield. So default 001, as you can see, this is just a duplicate of the default black. So once we've got this, we're going to go with, I'm going to go with sparse black. So sparse black is used for an alternative deeper tone. So you could have like a standard black for your project, but then you could have a black that's kind of different, so it's like a matte black or something like that. So this is what I would call the sparse black. Yeah, so let's go ahead, take this right here, and let's amend a few things. So let's make this less metallic, maybe more rough. You can mess around with the IOR if you want to in the alpha, but to be honest with you, I wouldn't do alpha with this desk. So sparse black as well, I'm going to name it as wood. So sparse black wood. Let's go ahead to, I think the shading tab might work for this. Let's see. So the shading tab right here, if we click that one, I was just kind of thinking about some of the stuff that we could do with this. So we're going to need like a kind of bumpy texture. So I'm going to go with texture. Let's go with magic texture. Might not actually do this very well, but Veroni might work, and wave texture probably would definitely work. Let's go color to base color with wave. Now you kind of got this kind of wave texture going on here. You can go diagonal with it if you want to. I mean, it looks okay, but it's not quite, you know, it depends what you want really from the project. All we're doing with this is we're just making some tones. So if we take the color to base color right here, change this to the roughness, we could have something like this. Kind of like this kind of carbon fiber kind of look, if that's what you want to go for. I think I might go for that in this one, actually. So yeah, you've got this kind of nice little carbon fiber look. You can up the detail, you can offset. Detail roughness as well. Detail scale. Distortion. Kind of makes it a little bit fuzzy. So you can kind of have it like that. So you've still got that pattern, but it's just slightly off. I think I might have mine like that. Okay, so once you've got this, you could also go ahead and add a bump into this and place it in the middle. You want to go color to height. This will give you a nice little texture on the top, so when this renders, we won't be able to see because there's no light at the moment, but when this renders, essentially you'll have little bumps on the top along with the pattern. So it just kind of gives it that nice little detailing. Alternatively, what we could do as well, let's go ahead and go to layout. This door right here, as we've changed the texture for this, isn't the same texture, so let's go down to the drop down, and you want to go down to the sparse black wood, which will give it the exact same texture as on here. It's a little bit smaller, so if you want to amend that and you want to duplicate the texture itself and then make it a little bit bigger, that's up to you. We could also go ahead and make this door going down the side as well. So if you go ahead and select the hinges and this bit, we can go Shift D. Let's rotate this to 90, and then I'm going to go ahead and rotate this background to 180, and then all you need to do is just stretch it out a little bit, and everything will stretch with it, including the hinges, so it's nice and uniform. So let's go with G, bring this forward, and just make it sit and fit. If it clips like this, just make it a little bit smaller, and then we'll go ahead and just move it into place as need be. So it might take a little bit of fiddling on this one, but should be able to get there in the end. So now we have this nice little door going on. What you could do with this door as well, if you wanted to, so if I just go Control Z real quick, you can go ahead and rotate this kind of inwards a little bit so it looks like a door. Looks like someone's neglected to close it properly, you know. Like that. I'm going to go ahead and just line that up actually, because the door's kind of outwards a little bit. So we want to go G and just bring that in. As such. So now you have this nice little door that's coming in and out. You have this nice little tabletop right there. You've got this nice little counter that's wrapping around. And now we need to do some lighting, I think, because this is looking a little bit dull. So let's go add. I'm going to go with cylinders to begin with on the lighting. So we could have like inlaid lighting, but to be honest with you, I think maybe this would be a lot better if we went with cylinders. So let's go and rotate these 90 degrees. You just want to make these as little strips. So let's go S for scale, bring this back. Let's press G, bring this across, and we're going to go ahead and just place these where we need them to be. So let's go with G, bring this forward, bring this up, S for scale, just go across the axes. We'll do S for scale there as well. You could pull this across onto the opposite side as well, so we could move this and press S for scale again and go about there. So right click shade smooth, we're going to go with new, switch out the principal BSDF to emission, and for this one we're going to go with blue, I think. So let's go blue, light, change this to a nice baby blue or a nice royal, depending on what you'd like. Let's go into the render viewport. We can see that we now have this emission, but it's not bright enough, so let's go ahead and turn it up. Now this should shine down onto here. The only problem is I believe it's a little bit too metallic, so I'm going to go ahead and just turn that metallic down a little bit. So we can see that this is coming onto the sides right here, but this front part right here doesn't seem to be getting it. So let's go ahead and amend what we need to amend. So I'm going to go ahead and take this strip lighting right here that we've just made with the cylinder when it allows me to click it. Come on, I'm going to do a real quick save on this actually. Let's go lighting kiosk. Okay, so let's get the strip lighting right here. Let's go Shift D. I'm going to go ahead and place it on this side. So let's go R for rotate. We'll go 90 degrees. And we're going to go G, bring this forward. G, bring this back. And what I'm going to do, let's press G just to bring this in, just so it sits and fits. Now you'll notice that it overhangs on this side. Now we don't want it to overhang on this side, so let's press S. Scale this in, press G, bring this across, and then we're going to press S again and just bring this across until we can get this into the nice place that we need it to be. Just about there. Okay, so once we have that, we should have something like this. Nice little undertones, nice little lighting. I think that this is a little bit too reflective, but that's fine. We can amend that. So now this is the lighting that we have in the scene currently. So we need some backing lighting as well. We need some under lighting. We also need some sort of window right here, and then maybe some advertising right here. So what we can do is let's go back to the regular render. Let's go to edit mode. I'm going to take this face right here and I'm going to make it just a nice little grey. So let's go with plus. We're going to go new. Change the materials type to grey. I'm going to put this as grey to board. So this is a board grey. Let's go ahead and do board grey right there. Click assign. Just make this a little bit deeper. So that's assigned to there. You could also go ahead and change these to board grey just for a moment if you wanted to. So just click board grey, assign. This one's going to be a window. So we're going to need to amend the back here. So if we just zoom into the back the best we can. Oops. Come on. Okay, so if you can't zoom into the back, best thing to do, because we've made this in sections, is to go G and move that to the side. How neat is that? This is the same thing we're going to be doing with the roof as well. So, like, originally when I started with Blender, I used to combine absolutely everything as kind of like one object. But nowadays it's like, you just remove the roof, just remove the walls, it's fine. So, let's go edit mode. We got this face at the back right here. We're going to go E for extrude. Leave it where it is. S for scale. Bring it in. You want to go ahead and make that nice and neat, just on the opposite side. Maybe about there. We're going to go E for extrude, bring this forward. And all you want to do at this point, to be honest with you, if I just go back before I extruded, let's go into the X-ray. Let's see if we can get a side view of this. If you can't get a side view, go to view, view align, viewpoint. Let's go right. Let's see if we can see this on the right. Okay, we can't. Let's see if we can see this on the left. Wait, did I have that on the right? The right one, I think you can kind of see it. Can we? No, we can't. Okay, so doesn't matter. Let's go S for scale. Bring this in. And we can do E for extrude. Just bring that outwards a little bit. Maybe we could like kind of S for scale. Just a little bit. Alright, so essentially what you want to be able to do is let's press delete on this face right here. So faces, delete faces. Okay, so let's go back onto this render point and let's take off the X-ray. So you have a little vertices right here that goes straight across. What you want to do is click the one on the outside, which is going to be the glass. Press F for fill. Again, let's click the glass on the outside. Let's go with this one, and then the corner. Let's press F for fill. Click these two, and then this one should be, and then F for fill. Oops, let's go 1, 2, 3. F for fill. 1, 2, 3. F for fill. 1, 2, 3, and then you gotta go 4 because you got that too. So F for fill. So now what you have is a nice little open cabinet, and you can make this as glass. So this face right here, let's go ahead and press plus, and we're going to make glass. So we're going to go cabinet glass for the name of this one. Let's go principal BSDF, switched out to glass BSDF. We'll click assign. So now we should have this nice little glass coming through the back. What we need to do is turn down the roughness. So now we can see through the cabinet. You might want to mess around with your IOR, depends on how this has turned out for you. Let's just click off that so you guys can see. So now you have this nice little cabinet that's going on right here. So with this wall being the way that it is, what we could do is add. Let's go to cube. Let's go into regular render to begin with. Let's press G, bring this up. And all I'm going to do is just make a shelf for products. So let's press G, we'll bring this down. You can add your own products afterwards and stuff, like little boxes of stuff. Depends on what your stall's selling. It might be coffee, it might be, you know, cakes, biscuits, donuts. Oh, we could do donuts. Donuts would be easy. Just like plain donuts, just kind of chilling. So yeah, shelves like this generally are rotated just slightly, so the customer can see what's on them. Let's go to X-ray mode real quick. Press G, just bring this across. Make sure she sits and fits on both sides. It's okay if you overlap just slightly, it's shelving at the end of the day. So, once we've got this, we can press G, we can bring this up just slightly. Make sure that the glass is in front. And what you can do, to be honest with you, I probably would have put some products on to begin with, but that's fine if you've not. We can go ahead and add, let's go with our cylinder. Rotate this by 90. Scale this out, scale this down. Press G. And essentially you want the lighting to go in the front of the cabinet. So let's go S for scale, bring this across. Maybe scale it down just a little bit. Press G, bring it up. Alright, we can go ahead, build this across, just bring this across slightly. It's too long. Press G, bring this up. You're gonna want to put this on the opposite side of the glass, so these two don't interact. So when we do this, we're going to go new. We'll go for new material. What did we name the last one? So we went with blue lights. This is going to be cabinet. We'll go with pale light, kind of like an offset white. Let's go with about there. Switch out the principal BSDF to emission. We'll place in that nice little cream again. Alright, so once we render this, should be able to see the shelf there. You got the blue lighting underneath. To be honest with you, I'm going to pull this up just a little bit, just at the back, so you can't really see it. It's like floating lights. So let's go with G. Bring this back just ever so slightly and bring it into the top of the cabinet. So now we have this nice little lighting on the inside. We can brighten this as well if need be. So you can go ahead and place your products onto the shelf right there. Make sure your shelf is pretty long. So you can go ahead and just press S for scale and just scale it out just ever so slightly. So let's press G and bring this across. Make sure that it's not sticking out the front like mine is currently. Yeah, usually when you have shelves like this, it's like slidable shelves. So you can slide them forwards and backwards, so you can grab products. So, yeah, with this lighting right here, I'm going to go ahead, Shift D, duplicate, bring it down to the bottom, but we want this smaller, so let's go S for scale, and then we'll go ahead and scale this across, just as such. Let's see what that looks like before we move anything. So, yeah, we've got that just where we need it. And then what I'm going to do, let's take this lighting right here, make sure this is flush to the shelf. Take the shelf, take the lighting, and go Shift D, bring this down. So now you've got two shelves. And then we're going to go Shift D, and bring down a third shelf. Just as such. So now you're probably going to want to take this one and this one. I just press G, bring this up just slightly, and then this one and this one. G, bring it up slightly, and then take the bottom one and just bring that up slightly as well. Don't worry about the light at the bottom, because that's just going to highlight anything that's back there. So when we render this, we'll now have something like this. Now it's totally up to you if you want to keep the shelves white. It's totally up to you if you want to put them uniform black. Yeah, whatever you'd like, really. So this grey that we've got at the side as well, we can also amend that. You're going to want a colour palette for this. So at the moment I've got blue and I've got black. Maybe we could add a gold in there or something like that. Gold, blue, black. Some other people, for the notes that I've done, kind of like the Pinterest kind of look that I was looking for as well, because I look at notes on Pinterest and some people say, oh yeah, they like cabinets that kind of have very out there colours, kind of like pinks and greens and oranges and stuff like that. So, you know, you've got those options as well. For me, I'm just taking like a couple of inspirations from Pinterest and doing that, but I'm looking at different lightings actually that certain kiosks have. And I'm kind of liking that kind of, that black, blue and gold kind of tones for a colour palette. Let's go with the shelves. You could have hinge bronze if you wanted to. I mean, like, it's already on the side. Shall we see what hinge bronze looks like? Actually, kind of. I mean, you could go ahead and do different colours on the shelves, actually. So you could go ahead with this one, hinge bronze. Take this one, and we could do drop down, maybe default black. Let's see what that looks like. Let's go with material 0, which is the default material. I think it depends on your preference and what you'd like. I mean, that bronze is quite nice, but I think it's too much. I think it pops, but it's it's too much because there's no other brands anywhere else. So I mean, like, we could leave the shelves like that as they are at the moment, and then we could do the background, and then we could see essentially what works, what doesn't. Okay, so let's go ahead. Let's look at some more notes here. So we've got, there's a kiosk on here as well that's white and black. So if white and black's your thing, I mean, you know, that's something that you could work with. Let's go ahead and make some little shelves at the back here. So we could, let's go to add, let's go cube. So let's go with G, bring them across to here. We're just going to make a small little cabinet at the back here. Maybe leave a little bit of a gap so you can get to your products at the back there. Let's go to edit. I'm going to go ahead and press G, bring this across. And I'm going to go ahead and press G, bring this up. So it's roughly the same size as the counter. And this could be like a coffee station or something like that, or a sink. So we can go E for extrude, S for scale, just to bring it in a little bit. Maybe a fryer or something like that. I'm gonna make this a little bit bigger at the back actually. So let's go G, bring this forward, just at the back there. Little fryer. Let's go G again, bring this forward. I gotta make sure everything fits in the room as well. So let's set this off X-ray, press G, bring this forward as well. Make sure it sits and fits. Yeah, that should fit in there. Let's go shade smooth. Let's go add. To make the baskets actually is really kind of easy. Let's press G, bring this up. You want to go ahead, elongate this. Let's go to edit mode. Delete the top face, so delete faces. And you want to select everything. Right click subdivide, right click subdivide, right click subdivide. As many times as you want to. We can add the handle on the back in a moment. We're going to go to modifiers, add, wireframe. There's our little basket. It's like improve the thickness of the sides right there, the offset just slightly. You can have a boundary if you wanted to. Relative, you can mess around with relative or even or anything like that. With creases. Let's go to edit mode. Most baskets, they do kind of come in at the bottom a little bit. So if we select all the bottom faces, ooh, there we go. Right. I just press S for scale and bring it in. Oops. We didn't want that one. S for scale, bring it in a little bit, and then you could do E for extrude. S for scale, bring that one in just a little bit more. Just kind of curve off that bottom of the basket. And then we could go ahead with object mode, add, let's go with cylinder. R for rotate, 90 degrees. I'm on wireframe if anyone's wondering. Let's go with G. I'm going to go S for scale, bring this down. And then I'm going to go ahead and just kind of squish it slightly for a handle. Let's go to edit mode. Select this face on the front. E for extrude. And then we're going to go E for extrude again, but we'll scale this outwards to kind of hold the basket a little bit. And then E for extrude again. As such. So this will be the handle for the basket. And we'll do E for extrude. And then we'll just kind of scale this outwards at this side. And then E for extrude. And then scale it back inwards. So you've got that nice little handle on the outside. Okay, so once you've done that, right click shade smooth. Let's go back to the original and take off the wireframe. You're going to want like a nice little silver for this. So let's go with material, new. New material, let's call this silver basket. Silver in there. Pull that metallic up. Take that roughness down. And then the handle, we want this is just kind of like a black. So we could go with, I mean, you could go with default black if you wanted to, just to keep with the themes. Usually, to be honest with you, I've not actually worked in a restaurant for a while, so I think you need kind of like a little hook coming down on this, I think, as I remember. So maybe we could go with G, bring this up, and then we could add a cube. So G, bring this up, S for scale, just kind of make this metallic at the back, I guess. I'm going to go ahead and just elongate this just slightly. So you've got that. Then that was the basket. So did we have silver? Silver basket, here we go. So that should be that. I'm going to go ahead and make that smooth. Okay, yeah. I've not been in the industry for a while, you know, so probably someone's going to say, yeah, that's built wrong, but, you know, work with what you have, I guess. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and scale this in. Little basket coming in. Alright, so we got the first basket there. See what this looks like on a render. That looks pretty cool. So I'm going to go ahead and add another basket just to the side of it. And then maybe another one. Another one. Nice little kiosk going on. Just going to press G and just move this to the centre so they're a bit more central. And then we're going to need some buttons and some lights and stuff for that. So I think that looks okay actually. I'm going to make a backing. So let's go edit. Let's take this face right here, G, bring this across, and then E for extrude. Just kind of give it a little get a thing going on. Just as such. I think that looks pretty neat. Alright, so, I need like another stand here or something, like coffee machine or whatever like that. So I think I'm going to take all of this that I've just made. Let's go with that. If it selects anything at the back, just click it off. Just going to go ahead and move that across just slightly. So when we're on the render, we should have something like this. So you can still get to your biscuits and stuff like that, but maybe we could put some patterns on the glass or something like that. Kind of a bit of a distraction. Let's take the actual fryer right here. Let's just make this a grey. I'll make it maybe silver. Let's go with silver. So we could go ahead and just improve the metallic. So we could go cooking, silver. Something like that. So now I think that we're going to need the lighting above, to be honest with you. And then we can add some more stuff in the corner right here. So let's go with, we could do drop down lights if we wanted to. So let's go ahead and add, let's get a cone in here. Press G, bring it up. Let's go edit. Take this, face at the bottom right here, E for extrude, S for scale, E for extrude, keep it where it is, S for scale, and then just bring this up and just kind of comb this in just ever so slightly as is. Ooh-wee. Right, there we go. Okay, so now let's take this and let's make this that nice little bronze that we have. So let's go with hinge bronze. Add. We can go ahead with a cylinder. S for scale. Bring this up. You just want to make this as a nice little chord. Press G, bring this up. S for scale, bring it down. Just have that in there, and then we can go with default black for that, and then we can go ahead and add icospheres are generally great for lighting, so let's go with G. Press S for scale, bring this in, and you just want to go ahead and just stick this in the top right here. Shade smooth. We're going to go ahead and make this an emission, so principal BSDF in your materials tab, switch it to emission. We'll go ahead and just pull that up just slightly, and we're going to take the entire light. S for scale, bring it down just a little bit. G, and you can go for 7 for heaven at this point. We'll press G, just bring this across. Maybe we'll have 3 lights on each side. So let's go with G, bring this down. It doesn't matter if it goes through the roof at this point, we can amend that, it's fine. Let's go for 7 to heaven, shift D, put this one in the middle, just about there, shift D, put this one on the corner, just about there, and then we can go shift D, put this one at the edge. How would that interact with the staff? Can you imagine the staff walking in every single day? Oh yeah, hi Hannah, bang. Yeah, maybe don't put that one there, but let's see. Maybe we can move this G to just in the middle right there, so it's not really going to interact with anything. Shift D. We can put this one here. So yeah, we kind of have health and safety for the staff with this one. And these ones are kind of in the middle. But to be honest with you, I think they're too close together. Yeah, screw it. You know what? I'm going to put this one here. It'll be fine. I think that'd be fine for staff, you know. Low bridge. It'd be fine. So yeah. You kind of got to tell a story with these sometimes. Like, sometimes I tell these stories and people are like, what are you going on about? And I'm like, well, if you look at it in a real life situation, you're probably going to have certain parameters within stuff like this so that you can work with it. So, we've now got the lights up at the top right here. You should still have the material, so I'm just going to go ahead and call the material for the icosphere on the inside of the lights as general. Yeah, lighting. Let's go ahead and just turn those up. Because this is quite a reflective surface, you're probably not going to see them as much, but you should be able to see them. I think the cone might be a little bit too far down. If I just go ahead and select all the cones real quick and just pull them upwards. So press J, up. Let's see if that amends the lighting a little better. Yeah, there we go. So these are kind of like lights on stalks, really. So if we just take this one, just pull the lighting up, it will change all of them. So we can change this to kind of like a nice little kind of cool lighting as well. Okay, and then these metallic cones that we've made, let's go ahead and just pull those down. Press G, bring them down. Just have something like this. To be honest with you, I'm thinking of changing the material on this to maybe a glass or something. Let's get rid of the material on them. Let's add new, and we're going to go with bronze glass. If you guys haven't saved already, please do. So let's change out with the principal BSDF to glass BSDF, and we'll change this to a nice metallic, kind of brown. Let's go with roughness down. I think that looks way better than something like that, to be honest with you. Yeah, okay, I'm gonna go with that actually. That looks nice. Unless we change this to blue. Oh. Like deep blue lighting like an aqua. Okay, keeps in with the blue themes, but then the bronze is like really nice. I just move that up. Ah. I quite like that bronze. Okay, you know what? I'm going to change it to that kind of style of bronze. Let's go and select all of these. Let's go and change that to bronze glass. This one. Bronze glass. This one. Bronze glass. Okay, yeah, okay, I can dig that. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and take the base right here, and I'm going to go Shift D. We'll bring this up to the front right here. And all I'm going to do is go to Edit Mode. We'll take the top face right here. We'll go for E for Extrude. S for Scale. This is where the store name is going to go. So E for Extrude again. We can place the store name right there. E for Extrude. S for Scale. E for Extrude, just bring this up. And then you can go ahead and just kind of do like a fancy kind of top to this, depending on what you'd like. So now we have this nice little stall, all encased. Beautiful. And what I'm going to do with the base right here, so let's go for E for Extrude. Leave it where it is. S for Scale, bring it in. You're gonna want to get the lamps on the inside of this before you drop the top inwards. So let's go for about there. E for Extrude, bring this up. S for Scale. Bring this back a little bit. E for Extrude again. Bring this up. S for Scale inwards, and then E for Extrude, bring this up again. Just going to kind of point that inwards. So what we can do now is we can kind of add some lighting on the inside here. So if we go, let's go with Shift Control R. Just scroll the wheel once and then click. So all of this inside of here. So we're going to have one face, two face, three face. All you're doing is rolling the scroll wheel. So when you do Control and R. So now we can have some indoor lighting just here. So if we go ahead and just place this onto the render mode for the moment, we can go ahead and we can go with plus. And I mean, you could do the blue lighting if you want to with this. Just click Assign. And now you should have a nice little blue strip on the inside. So if we go to Object Render, this is what it should look like. The nice little blue strip on the inside. We want some additional lighting just for staff in here as well. I think that it's just a little bit too dark. I'm just trying to think. Let's get some tiling in the back right there. So let's go with the backing that we've got right here. Shift D, duplicate it. Let's go S for Scale, bring it in. We could go with G, bring this to the side just slightly. I'm just going to go ahead and scale that in just a little bit more. You just want to get it so that you've got this nice little backing just bordering at the back there. Let's take this. Let's go to Shading tab. I'm going to go ahead and delete the material for this. Let's go Add. We can go New. Add. I'm going to go Brick. Let's see if brick texture works with this. So place that on the back right there. It's kind of sideways. I mean, yeah, you could have paneling if you wanted to, kind of like... I think that would be good for a wood back, actually. If we had, like, this and this. Let's go ahead and add noise texture. Place this on one of the colours. So we get this nice little pattern going on in the background. And then we could have add, let's go colour ramp. Right in the middle right here. Add, and then we could probably have some maybe some dark browns. Just kind of bring that contrast out a little bit. Some greys, dark browns. Turn the roughness down so it's shiny. Let's go... I'm going to add another tone into this. Just kind of like a blue or something, just a turquoise maybe. I'm just messing around with colours at the minute. I think that could work actually. If we turn the metallic up just a little bit. And then maybe we could do some lighting on the inside. So this blue, we could increase the strength a little bit. I do quite like that background, but I don't like it at the same time. Let's tone down some of the tones. Let's make it a little bit darker in appearance. Not too much. You don't want to lose detail, but at the same time you kind of want that little variation. So yeah, we can have something like that. This metallic right here, just make that like a little tone darker because it's sticking out like a sore thumb. Let's see. I'm gonna go ahead and place some bar stools in front of here, and I'm also gonna go ahead and place some cups, maybe some plants just on the side, just to offset that a little bit more. Let's go layout again. Let's add another table in the back just to give us some more detail. So cube. Let's go G. Bring this up. S for scale. Don't want it too big. Don't want it too shallow. Just something right there. Let's go G. Bring this across. I actually might add some shelves in the background. That might look pretty cool. So let's go to edit mode. You want to go with X-ray so you can see what you're doing. Let's press G. Bring this down. G. Bring this across. Don't block that entrance. G. Bring this across too. So that could be a nice little cabinet or something like that. So I'm just going to go E for extrude, S for scale, E for extrude, just to kind of give it that nice little bump. With this we could do this as the default black, just to keep in with themes. And then we could go ahead and add some shelving in the background. So we could have some of this bronze shelving actually. So let's change all the shelving to bronze. Hinge bronze. Let's go Shift D. We could put this in the back actually. Let's go G, bring this down. Shift D, do 1. Shift D, do 1. Little shelving unit. I like that. I like that bronze. It kind of pops it a little bit. Yeah. Okay. So, I'm thinking this background right here, let's go with, I think the light's a little bit too dim, but we could go ahead and add some, let's go with the light on the outside actually. Let's go, oh sugar. Let's go G, bring this up. I pressed H by accident. Let's go ahead and just turn up the exposure slightly. Turn up the power slightly so you've got that external lighting coming through. Okay, so you got that external light right there. Let's go ahead and add a little sign on the top right here. So let's go to add. We'll go to text. We'll go ahead and go to edit mode. And we're going to go ahead and just name your store anything that you want to. So I'm going to name mine Sam's. I don't know, Sam's Coffee. You can name yours anything that you want. Go back to object mode. Let's go G, bring this across. You're going to notice that this is currently lay on the floor, so you're going to go R for rotate. Let's go 90. Bring this up, G, bring this up as well. You're going to want to go S for scale. G, bring this across. Now, you'll notice that this is extremely flat at the moment, so we're going to go to data at the side right here, or data. And this will give us the geometry, which we can extrude as such. So, once we've got this, you can also go with font. If you click the little file right here, you can get a whole load of fonts. Now, unfortunately, you can't see the fonts that I have because it's a pop-out little screen that I've got right here. For some reason, the recording software only does one screen. So, yeah. I'm just going to go ahead and just pick something random from here. See. I'm looking for something for a store that actually kind of looks nice. So we could go with this one. Kind of looks cute. I think it's a little bit too thin, but we could work with it just for the moment. So if you go to materials tab, new, switch out principal BSDF for emission, and we were going with the blue themes and the gold themes, so I mean you could go with the blue theme for this. Yeah, so let's go on to the render. Let's click off that. We can now see that we have Sam's Coffee. Let's press G and bring this up, just at the side right there. I think the text type's a little bit too much. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm just going to go ahead and amend that because I just feel it doesn't really fit the theme. Sorry, just give me 1 second. Come on. There we go. I mean, you could have something like this if you wanted to. Sam's Coffee. Actually, you know what? That actually works. That's nice. Let's go with scale. Let's bring this in. Let's press J. Bring this across. Sam's Coffee. It's actually nice, that. Right, let's go ahead and take this. Shift D. You're going to want to rotate this one by 90. Press G. Bring this across. I have Sam's Coffee on the other side as well. Okay. It's looking nice, looking nice. It's missing a few things. It needs some coffee cups in there. I'm going to build the coffee cups actually. I was thinking about amending them into the project, but then, you know, you guys are not going to learn how to build coffee cups. So, I mean, you could go back and you could look at my profile, but yeah, let's start with the cylinder. Let's go with G. I'm going to build stackable coffee cups. We could do Sam's Coffee and Donuts kind of theme. Let's go with edit mode. Let's hit the top one. S for scale. We'll go G, bring this up. It's got this nice little coffee cup going on. Let's go E for extrude. S for scale. E for extrude. S for scale. E for extrude. E for extrude, leave it where it is. S for scale inwards. And you can see on the x-ray right here, when I press E for extrude, you can see it on the inside. So let's go ahead and just amend it as such. And then this bottom bit right here, they always have that little cardboard bit. So let's go for S for scale, E for extrude, bring that in. And it's just a basic coffee cup that you can use right here. So let's shade that smooth. Let's go for material. We'll go for new. Make it slightly kind of tanned just there. Let's take this. Let's go Shift D. Duplicate this upwards. And then select them both. Shift D, duplicate upwards. So you've got like a stack of coffee cups. As such. Voila. Let's go. S for scale. Scale this down. Press G. Bring it in. They're a bit too big for the place. So we're going to go S for scale again. Bring these down. Press G. Oh, I've just been offered something by a local takeaway as well. I just looked at my phone then. I've got buy one, get one free. Ooh. Nice. Right, so let's go ahead and scale these down again. Make sure this sits and fits on the countertop where you need it. Let's go ahead and duplicate this up again. You know, I'm actually going to do one thing before I duplicate. Let's press G. Let's bring this to the back. And we could go ahead and just place a whole load of coffee cups. Just right here. You could go ahead and just double stack these if you wanted to, just on this side. Alright, so once you've got something like that, you've got some nice little coffee cups going on. You can take any one of those coffee cups and duplicate them and place them anywhere that you like, really. So this is what you should have. This is what you should have as a project, or it should look like. Those shelves are interacting with that doorway again, and I'm seeing like, what is it you guys call it in the US? Social violation. Like, yeah, somebody's gonna get hurt there. So someone's gonna get shoulder whacked by the shelving unit here, or they're gonna whack their head there, you know. Okay, so the next thing that I think we should do, we need a coffee machine. We need something. We need, like, maybe remove this first shelf, and then we could go ahead and add. And I've made coffee machines before, but this is going to kind of be a little bit more of a basic one. Let's go with G. Bring this in. Nice default cube to work with. You got S for scale. I'd usually make these as individual objects. That's kind of why my channel has so many individual objects on there that you can build, so that you can amend them or append them. Append into your project. So generally with a coffee machine, you're going to want to make a little tray at the bottom. So just about here is roughly where the tray goes. We will go with Control R. Just in the middle right here, and you want to make some amendments at the bottom here. So let's go, I'm just going to go back with that one. Let's go with this face on the top right here, E for extrude, and then generally what you have is E for extrude again. You have a bigger base, a bigger bit at the top here. So let's pull this just up to here, E for extrude again. I'm just going to go ahead and just pull it inwards. And then you have the overhang. So let's go E for extrude just there. E for extrude again. S for scale. G, bring this back as such. We'll make this little tray right here. So E for extrude. S for scale. Let's go with a drop right there. I'm not going to make any specific coffee machine, I'm just making like a default one. You're going to need a plane. Bring this up, press G. We're going to do the same that we did with the baskets. Let's move that inwards. Oh, sugar. That should sit and fit. It doesn't sit and fit. Let's go with 7 to heaven. Roughly locate where your tray is. Can't get my words out today. Right. Should be there. Let's press G. Bring this up. S for scale. If you guys are interested in building coffee machines, there's already one on my channel. So you can go ahead and go to that one if you'd like. Right, so we got that one right there. We're going to go edit mode. Right click subdivide. You can shade smooth if you want to. You're going to go to modifiers, add modifier, and you want to go for wireframe. And what this is going to do, does the exact same thing that it did to the basket. You have nice little wireframes at the bottom. Go ahead and select one of your materials, which should be a silver. Let's see, we do have a silver somewhere, silver base. It should have something like this. Now, obviously, with the lighting at the moment, we need to change this at the back, so we can change this to silver base. For some reason it's not got on there. So that's your silver base right there. This one at the back, I mean, you could have default black, or you could go with hinge bronze. Do we want a hinge bronze? It's a bit too much, isn't it? There's too much bronze in there. Let's go with the silver. Let's see. So we've got silver, black, sorry, sparse black wood, silver base. The silver base actually might complement it a little bit more. I kind of like that. That's nice. It looks like a nice little posh coffee machine. Let's see. Let's see. I think the lighting needs mending a little bit. Maybe some different tones in there as well. Okay. So we need some coffee cups. We already have the paper ones, but we need like coffee cups, and then we need some stools around the edge where people can sit and order coffee. I don't know whether I want to do the tables. Maybe tables could be put in there. Tables could be. Shall we make the little stools? Should we go cylinder? Let's make the seats to begin with. Let's press G. Bring this across. S for scale, bring this down. You're gonna want to go to edit mode, select the top face, E for extrude, S for scale inwards, E for extrude again, S for scale inwards. Let's go for the underside just to make that little bevel, E for extrude, and then S for scale inwards. Okay, so object mode right here, let's go shade smooth. Keeping in with the themes of the actual cafe, we've got blues, we've got greys, we've got bronze. Do we want a blue, grey and a bronze? Or do we want something different? Shall we have... Let's see what this looks like rendered and see if we can do a colour comparison right here. Do we want blue seating? It's an option. It's an option, we can have blue seating. I think red seating would be too much. Doesn't really keep in the themes. The aqua, no. Turquoise is a no. Kind of purpley blue. Purpley blue actually looks really nice. Thinking. Let's go to the shading tab and let's add some texture to make this look a little bit more fleecy. So let's take this one right here. We'll go with add noise texture. You want colour to base colour. So you've got this nice little noise texture going on right here. kind of bring this in just a little bit, and I'm going to go ahead and just amend this. So Shift D, and I think I will place this into the metallic. Oh, actually no, let's place this into the roughness. Yes. We need a bump texture, and we also need a color ramp. So let's go add, and we'll go bump. Let's go from color to height. Okay, I'm going to change that roughness to metallic again. Yeah, I think that works well. Let's go to add. We'll go color ramp. Let's place this in the middle right here, and we're going to go with that nice little kind of royal baby blue that we had originally. I'm going to amend the bump just slightly with the filter, and then I'm going to add some more textures in with that blue. System preferences. Yeah, it's just compiling one more shader and then it should appear. I'm going to go ahead and add another blue into this once this is finished doing its thing. If you guys are at the stage where your computer's starting to slow down, please do save, because you're going to lose your work if you don't. And mine's taking a little while to create things, and Blender 5.0 is currently not responding. So, yeah, there is that. I think we're gonna get to the end of the tutorial at the moment, but I still need to amend that coffee machine. So we'll see how far we can go, because I really wanted to get the stools in here. Yeah. Come on, Blender, you can do it. I don't know whether you guys are seeing this, but my Blender's just like, the screen's gone white. I think I'm just gonna wait for it. I'm just gonna wait. Surprising that we're an hour and 19 minutes into this project currently. So, yeah. Generally my tutorials only last for maybe about a half hour to an hour. But yeah. This is just taking its sweet time at the moment. Come on. There we go. Hello, welcome back to the party. Right, so this colour that we've got right here, I'm going to change this to a deeper, more royal blue. Just going to move this across. Make this a bit deeper. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and really quickly make the rest of this piece, and then I'm going to call it quits, because this is clearly taking its time to render now. It's putting some strain on the processor. So I'm going to go 7 to heaven, and let's go with X-ray mode again. Let's go with G. Bring this to the middle, just EST. Let's go 7 again. Alright, I'm going to go S for scale, bring this up. Let's go with edit mode. Take this top face right here, press G, bring this down so it's at the bottom of the cushion. Gonna go ahead with the base face right here. Let's go G, bring this up, S for scale, bring it in, E for extrude, and then we're just gonna go E for extrude, and we'll just splay this out at the bottom. Oh, I think that's too big. Okay, I think that will do. I think that will do. Let's go right click shade smooth, and then we're going to change this to silver. Silver, just to keep in with the theme right there. I need it more silver. Let's go ahead and duplicate this and put this as super shiny silver. Super shiny silver. Turn out that roughness. There we've got that nice base. Take this off render. Take this off X-ray. G, bring this down. S for scale. I'm just going to go ahead and S for scale this again. But I'm going to make the seat just a little bit bigger. Oh, sugar. Right. Let's go with that one and that one. G, bring this down. Just going to scale it down once more. We'll have that one there. Let's press G across 2, 3. For people who want to sit on that side. And then we can do a head and 1 for here. And maybe 1 for here. And then we'll leave this separate. I'm going to go ahead and move the fryer over. Second. Can't really unselect that wall at the back. So let's press G. We'll bring this over just to sit and fit just nice and snug on that side. I can get this. So now we can have that there. Bring this wall back. There, and then we can have like a nice little till area just here. For this, let me see. I just need to look. Coffee. Let's see, coffee machines. So we can just put some spouts there and stuff, and just some handles. So all we need to do is just add. Let's go with UV sphere, just to make a basic kind of coffee machine at the back, just for a prop. Let's go with G, bring this in, S for scale. Just there. As is, and I'm going to do this as a default black. Add cylinder, G, bring this up. R for rotate and 90. S for scale. Bring this down. Shade smooth. Go ahead and edit this if you wanted to. E for extrude at the end. Just kind of scale that in. As such. And then we will go ahead and place this at the back. That needs to be bigger. Little handle on there. Let's go with a hinge bronze. And we can go across and just add these on, just in random places. I think the coffee cup itself, maybe, we can make one really quickly. I'm just like watching how much space I've got left on the computer actually. I guess we could really quickly put one of these in. So let's go, sorry, not subdivide. Let's go face at the bottom. G, bring this down. Bring this up even. E for extrude. S for scale, bring it in. E for extrude. S for scale, bring it in. E for extrude. S for scale, bring it in. E for extrude. S for scale, bring it in. Do the same to the top. You want X-ray mode on so you can see on the inside. E for extrude, leave it where it is. Scale it in, make that lip. E for extrude, bring it in. Scale it down. E for extrude, scale it down. E for extrude and scale it down. And then for your handle, all you need to do is add. And you could go ahead with you could go with Taurus if you wanted to. Totally up to you. Let's go with G. Easier handle for you to make. We could go alpha rotate, rotate this on its side of 90, and then side look right here. Let's go 180. Oh, sorry, 90. My bad. Let's go alpha rotate and 90. Go on to the edit mode. You want to go with the X-ray right there. Select one half of this, press delete. Delete faces. We're going to go ahead, object mode, right click shade smooth. And then all you need to do is S for scale. And just press, oops, don't press H, press G. Bring this to the side, alpha rotate. And you've got a nice little handle for your coffee cup just here. If you take the coffee cup itself, make it a little bit taller, you go for edit mode. Select the ring around the top as well. Oops. Let's make sure you're selecting the ring. All you need to do is E for extrude, bring this up. Right click shade smooth. S for scale on this. Just bring that handle out just a little bit more. Maybe down a bit. And G just to bring that in. Just ever so slightly, and alpha rotate if it requires you to do so. Very quick coffee cup. Let's take that X-ray mode off. Right, so the coffee cup right here that we have, let's press G, bring this down. It's a little bit too big, so I'm just going to press G. Sorry, press S for scale. Let's go with G, bring this in. S for scale. And you just want to go ahead and place this wherever it needs to be. As such. Just rotate that just ever so slightly just to offset it. Shift D. We'll go ahead and add one under this one, maybe. And then we'll place some on the shelves right here as well. So Shift D. Place one just here. So Sam has his coffee cups. Shift D. Shift D. Let's go ahead and duplicate a load of these. Bring these up. And then for the final touch, what we could do is go Shift D, bring this across, G, bring this down. And then place coffee cup on the desk as if Sam has received a customer, and as all customers do, they leave their stuff behind. Hope you enjoyed this tutorial, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye. Okay, welcome to the next installment of Blender. I hope you guys are doing well. So today we are going to be making a little wall decoration. So what I'm going to do to begin with is we're going to go ahead to the render engine and switch out our EV to cycles. And I'm going to go ahead and delete the default cube right here. So let's begin by placing on these screencast keys so you guys can see what I'm doing. That would be really helpful right now. And we're going to go with add, and we'll go plane, S for scale. And we're going to go ahead and take this plane right here, and we're going to go Shift D to duplicate it. Leave it where it is and just click. Alpha rotate, and you want to go against the axes here, which will be the Y axis. Just hold down that center scroll right there, and you should be able to go to any of the sides right here. So we're just going to press 90. If you don't have the number pad, you can go ahead and press 90 at the top of your keyboard. Let's press enter just to facilitate that one. We're going to go with G, bring this up. So now we've got a nice floor and a nice wall to work with. I'm going to go ahead and get rid of the default light as well, so we can see what we're doing. So we're going to go with add. You can go ahead and add another plane, or you could duplicate this one. To be honest with you, we could probably duplicate this one. So let's go with Shift D. I'm just going to go ahead and bring this forward, and I'm just going to press S to scale this down. Now this is going to be the base for our little piece right here. So let's go with object mode real quick and switch that to edit mode. We're going to go ahead, right click, subdivide a bunch of times. And we'll go ahead with modifier, add modifier, and you want wireframe with this. So when we go back to our object mode, you'll see that we have this nice little mesh going on. You can go ahead and increase the thickness of this mesh. You can go ahead and mess around with the offset if you'd like to. Totally up to you what you'd like to do with this project. You can also have boundaries as well. I would recommend a boundary on this particular object, because if you don't have the boundary after wireframe, if I just quickly show you. So if I just uncheck that boundary real quick, it kind of does this. It's the best way to explain it, is just to show you. You see what I mean? So click that boundary. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to add text. So let's go to add. We'll go to text, and it will appear down here at the bottom. So to edit the text, let's go with edit mode. And maybe we'll do hello and world just at the bottom there. So you can't really see it because it's currently interacting with this background. So if you need to, go on to wireframe. Let's go to object mode real quick. And then all we need to do is go to data at the side right here, which is the big A. And we can go with geometry if you wanted to. You can extrude this just ever so slightly so that it's 3D. So if I just come down to the side there, you can see if I mess around with the extrude, it's doing this. So make it as thick as you'd like. Okay, so once we've got this, we're going to go ahead and we'll go to paragraph, alignment, and then we have this currently set to default left. We're going to want this as center. So now everything is down the center. We're going to go and move this to the mesh. So let me go back onto the regular render right here, and I'm going to go with G to bring this up. You want to go with alpha rotate on the z-axis and go 90. And then alpha rotate again. We're going on the y-axis this time, so let's go 90. G to bring it back. And all you want to do is make sure that this sits and fits just in front of the mesh right here. So for those of you who are wondering, how do I change the text type? I'm just going to go ahead and just scale this up with an S. So with changing the text type on here, it won't pop up on my side. You won't be able to see it because for some reason my screen recorder doesn't do pop-ups. But you can go to fonts right here under the data section. Click the little folder and you should get a little pop-up displaying different fonts. So if I went with this one, for example, we've got something like that. Now we want to illuminate this. So what I'm going to do is let's go ahead and make this an emission. So we'll go over to the materials tab. I'm going to go ahead and just change on the viewport shading rendered. So there's no light coming from here. We're going to go to the materials tab. Let's go with new. Switch out your principal BSDF to an emission. And now you can see that we have this light coming through. So what we need to do now is you can go ahead and reduce the strength. You can increase the strength right there. That will decide how much light is going to be on your scene. To change the colour, you have your beautiful colour wheel right here. could have something like that. Now, if you wanted individual letters and stuff like that, you would have to make this 2 separate objects or multiple objects. So to do that, let's go ahead and take this hello world right here. We'll go Shift D to duplicate. So now we've got 2 of these. Let's go ahead to edit mode. I'm just going to go ahead and get rid of the hello on one of them. Let's go back to object mode. So now we have 2 worlds. To change the colour on this one, let's go and take that material off. Let's go new material. Let's go to emission, switch that principal B SDF out. And we can change that to pink. Now to get rid of the world on this one, we're going to go ahead with edit mode and just go ahead and delete world. So now we go back to object mode. We now have the exact same text type, stuff like that. The strength of the emission has changed just a little bit. So if we go into the rendered mode, you can see that these kind of shine at different brightnesses. So the strength for the kind of green aqua blue one right here is 2.6. For the pink one, we just have 1.0. So we could go ahead and change this to 2.6. And it will be the exact same brightness on the strength. So yeah, the background with this little kind of mesh thing as well, we could go new material. And we could go ahead and just make that black or something just to kind of border it off a little bit. This would be great for kind of like a bar scene or something like that. Great for a shop window. Totally up to you what you want to use it for. I hope you guys enjoyed the tutorial. Enjoy the rest of your day and leave us a like and a subscribe. Bye. Okay, welcome to the next Blender tutorial. So today we're going to be making a little bit of an advertisement board. It's something that you'd see like generally on the side of a walkway or something like that. So what we're going to do, I'm going to go ahead and go to the render engine right here. We'll switch Eevee out to cycles, and I'm going to take the default cube and just press S for scale. Let's go ahead and just get these screencast keys on. There we go. Alright, so I'm going to press S for scale to bring this across. This will be our foundation, and I'm just going to press S to scale to go downwards as well. Just go ahead and press in the center scroll and you should be able to get the axes that you need. So we're going to go ahead and let's press S for scale again, just bring this out just a little bit. So this is the foundation. We're going to go ahead and add in another cube right here, and we're going to elongate this one. So let's press S for scale and make this a little bit taller. S for scale again, pull this in, and then S for scale, make this a little bit taller as well. Depending on how big you'd like the billboard to be, is dependent on how long you'd like this to be. So let's press G and move this across to the middle just here. And what I'm going to do with this, we're going to go ahead and duplicate this over again, but let's go to edit mode. I'm going to go ahead and press Ctrl R, make a little cut in the middle, and just scroll the scroll wheel in the center just once. So you should have something like this. Now, what we're going to do is let's go ahead and select the side on here, and then press Shift and hold, and we'll select this other side right here. We're going to go E for extrude, click, leave it where it is, and then we'll go S for scale and just bring this in. So now what we have when we go back to object mode is this nice little cut just down the side of the metal right here. So you're going to want this forward facing towards the base as well. So if we had our fronts here and our back here, this is forward and back facing. So now you've got something like this. So once we've got that, let's go ahead and add in another cube. And what I'm going to do is make a foundation to this. So let's go S for scale, bring this down. G, bring this up. Let's go G, bring this across. And S for scale again, just bring this to the middle. We're going to go ahead and press 7. so that we can see the top right here, and we'll press G just to bring this down. So once we've got something like this, just go right here. We can go ahead, and what I'm going to do is make a little foundation at the bottom right here, and then I'm going to place another 2 cubes at either side with some little kind of bolts in the middle right here. So let's go ahead, and what we can do, I think the best course of action right here is to go with Shift D, so we duplicate this cube outwards, S for scale, bring this in, and I'm going to go ahead, let's go to edit mode, take this top face right here, we'll go for E for extrude, bring this up, S for scale just to bring this in slightly, and then E for extrude again to bring this up, and then we're just going to bring it into kind of like a point, just right here. So let's go ahead with edit mode again. I'm going to shade that smooth. Let's go with G, right click shade smooth. You're going to want to put this just at the side here, maybe S just to scale it inwards just slightly. So it looks like it's soldered on there. Make sure this doesn't clip in the middle. Press G and bring this across. And what I'm going to do, let's go Shift D and bring this across to the opposite side as well. So we've got that nice little foundation. We'll go ahead and add, and we'll go with cylinder. Right click shade smooth, S for scale, G bring this across, and G bring this up. S for scale to bring this down. This will be a little bolt. Let's press G and bring this across. You can go ahead and go with 7 to heaven if you want to. You're gonna want this bolt just in the middle right here. So what I'm going to do before duplicating is I'm going to go ahead and add the bolt to it. So let's go ahead and add in, you could go with a cylinder again if you wanted to. Now, there is an option at the bottom right here, add cylinder, and you should be able to change the faces. So if you go with vertices, you can just bring these down, and you could have 8 if you wanted to. Let's go with S for scale, bring this down just here. Let's go with G and bring this across and up. We could go with S for scale again. And all you want to do is just make a tiny little bolt just on the bottom right here. It doesn't have to be perfect in detail unless you want it to be. You can go ahead and add, say, a shading tab to this if that's something that you want to do. We'll go 7 to heaven again so we get this nice and central. I'm just going to go S for scale to bring this down, and G to bring this across. Just to place this just roughly in the middle, right here. Alright, so once we've got something like this, let's go ahead and take this that we've just made, 7 to heaven again, and we'll go with Shift D, bring this across to roughly there, and then you can go ahead and take these two that we've just made and Shift D and bring this across to the opposite side, just here. So now we have this nice little foundation going on. So what we need to do with this now is we need to duplicate all of this that we've just made onto the opposite side apart from the base. So you could go ahead with this and go to X-ray mode, box select, select everything, and then just double click on the base right here just to deselect it. Let's go with Shift D, duplicate this across, and what we should have now is two nice little pylons going up for the advertisement board. Now when we do this, we will add some materials to this, but we're going to do the inner frame first, and then I'll start to add the materials. So let's go ahead and take one of these struts that we've made right here. Let's go Shift D, we'll bring this up, and we'll rotate this by 90, as such. S for scale, bring this down. You want a nice little supporting beam just here for the billboard itself. Now you can do this off center if you wanted to, so it's hanging over the road, or you could do this pretty central, but I'm going to go ahead and just do mine slightly off center. So you're going to want a little pylon right here, and then you're going to want to go ahead and Shift D and bring the second one up right here. You're going to want roughly about there, I would say. And then what we're going to do is Shift D again, bring this to the middle, alpha rotate, we'll go with 90, and I'm going to go with G, bring this across. Now you've got this nice little clip going on right here, so what I would suggest is S for scale, just bring this outwards as such. So let's go S for scale, bring this down. G, bring this up just ever so slightly. And then we'll go with Shift D, maybe bring one to the middle as like a middle support or something like that. Come on. And then go across again to the middle. Shift D to the opposite side. As such. And you're just essentially building a frame just for the middle, because when we do the boards on the outside they will stick out just a little bit so that we can see the advertisements. So once you've got something like this, you can go ahead with two different tones if you wanted to. So what I would suggest is we'll go ahead and we'll make one tone in one material, and then we'll make a secondary tone so we can have some variation. So if we go into materials, we go new, we're going to do kind of like an offset kind of cream for the initial kind of material. So let's go with this one. So we'll call this material offset cream for this one. So now you can see that the material's changed. We could go ahead and take the second part right here, and we'll go to the drop down, just browse material, offset cream. Let's go offset cream again, and just go ahead and select everything to offset cream, and then we'll change the secondary tone that we have to an offset cream variable so that it's a little bit different, so you've got that nice little difference between your stuff, and we can add a little bit more detail. So offset cream again, you just want to go ahead and do this to every single one. Apart from the bolts, maybe just leave the bolts as silver, or you could have them as white if you wanted to, up to you, or maybe they're the same tone as the cream. Excuse me. Right, so I would say leave the foundation because that's going to be concrete, so maybe we could go ahead and make this into a new material, and we'll just call this con for concrete. You just want to make that a nice little grey. We could go ahead and amend that later on with shading tabs. So, let's see. I think at this point we should start advertising. We should have the board on there. So you can do this in one of two ways. You can make this by yourself. Alternatively, you can go ahead and take this frame and we can cheat a little bit. So let's see, let's select this frame right here all the way around, and we'll just press Shift D. I'm going to go ahead and just make it off the board for the moment so that we have a little bit more control. You're going to want to go ahead and just shrink down these ones at the side so they're a little bit more uniform. And we'll place that just about there. I'm going to go ahead, if you guys can see this, maybe this is a better angle for you. I'm going to go ahead and take this one right at the side. We'll go Shift D, bring one to the middle right here, Shift D, bring one to the middle right here, Shift D, bring it up to the middle, I guess you could just vary the support beams, kind of play it by eye. Select them all, just try and get them a little bit more central. Up there, doesn't have to be perfect. And then, let's see, I'm going to go ahead and take the outer beams right here, and I'm going to press G, bring these forward. Let's go back with that actually. I'm going to go S for scale, just to scale them outwards just a little bit. And then we can press G, bring these forward. You're going to want to make sure these are a little bit more uniform on the side as well, so we'll select the two side bits. You see how we've got this nice little drop off coming out right here. You're going to want to go ahead and press S and just bring this in. So you can have something like that. And then I'm just going to press S just to complete the frame just there. So you've kind of got this nice little pattern going on around the outside. You're gonna wanna get this and this just kind of perfect. So might take a little bit of tweaking right here, but we can get this in. Just about there. I would say that's okay. Alright, so once you've got this, you're going to want to go ahead and make a new material. So we currently have offset cream right here. Press minus. We'll go new. This will be a white border, so I'm just going to go with white board. Let's go ahead and assign that as well. So that will be automatically assigned because we've just made it. You're going to want to press the side one right here. Let's go ahead and go down to the drop down and just go with whiteboard at the bottom, and then whiteboard again at the side, and then the whiteboard at the side again. So you can keep that nice little cream in the middle, but you need the white border. So the next thing that we could do, let's go to add, and we can go with plane. We're going to want to make the plane inside of this. So let's go with G, bring this across, G, bring this up. We'll go for alpha rotate, 90 degrees. G, bring this forward. S for scale. And you just want to sit this and fit this just inside. So I think the best way to do this is edit mode. We'll go ahead and we'll go for the side pieces right here. We'll press G, bring this across. And then we'll press G on the side, bring this across. G, bring this down. G, bring this down as well, and then we'll go ahead with object mode, G, and bring this forward. So now this is going to be your advertisement space. I'm going to go ahead and just amend this just ever so slightly. I've kind of got a frame there. Yeah, perfect. I think that would work. Alright, so once we've got our little board on this side, I'm going to go ahead and just amend the material in the middle just real quick. So let's go ahead and just name this as board. I'll make this slightly grey. We're going to amend this later on, but I just wanted to make this grey so you guys can see the different pieces. And what I'm going to do from here, let's take one of these in the middle, Shift D. You're going to go alpha rotate. Let's go with 90. You're going to want to sit and fit this on here. So let's go with G. Bring this forward. S for scale. Bring it across. Let's go with G and place it and sit and fit it just on here. Now you're going to want to do a few of these. So let's go with Shift D. Bring this up. And Shift D, bring this down to roughly about there. Take these three that you've just made, and you're going to go with Shift D. Sorry, not Shift D. We're going to press G. Bring this across to. Oops, come on. Bring this across to the side. Just about there. So let's go on to the X-ray mode real quick. select everything that you've just made right here, press G, bring this forward and place it on the side of the billboard, stand just here. So now you're going to want to make sure this doesn't clip, so press G and bring this forward if you need to. So you should have something like this, with nice little struts and stuff. Now you can leave this as is if you wanted to, maybe pull these back a little bit. Let's see. So if I just go Control Z, it will reselect everything that I've just had. We can go ahead and press Shift D, and then we can go alpha rotate, use the axes, the Z axis. Let's go 180. Now you'll notice that it might be slightly off, but that's fine. Press G, bring this forward, and again you just want to go ahead and sit and fit it onto the frame right here. So you press G, just bring this across, make sure it doesn't clip, and now you have this nice little billboard going on. So if I just go ahead and add underneath a plane, so let's go S for scale, and then we click render, it should look something like this. So now we need to add a little bit of lighting to it, and we also need to add a little bit of a picture, and then I will make some variations of the materials on here as well for you guys. So the lighting's also absolutely terrible right now, but it's fine. We can amend that. So let's go with the lighting right here. Now you can do this in one of two ways. You can do this as a pole and a cube, or you could do this as like underlighting or something like that. We did underlighting with shelves last time, if you guys were there for that one. So let's go ahead. We'll do a cylinder, I think. Let's press J, bring this up. You're probably going to notice that your cylinders still look like this. You can go ahead and amend that at the side right here. I'm just going to press delete on that one and just replace that into the scene. So don't move anything, and then come down here to the cylinder tab just at the bottom and just increase the vertices around the outside. So let's press G, bring this up. We'll go ahead with edit mode. Take your top face, press G, elongate this a little bit. We're going to go E for extrude, press G to bring it forward just ever so slightly, alpha rotate, E for extrude, bring this up, alpha rotate. You can make this any shape that you want to. E for extrude, we'll do alpha rotate, bring this round. E for extrude, and you can bring this straight up if you wanted to. Let's go alpha rotate again, and I'm just going to go with an additional E for extrude right here, and kind of like a rotation. So let's go with that side. We'll go E for extrude just on the base, just to give it a little bit more length, and we'll go for object mode. Let's go right click shade smooth, add cube. Don't worry, it's not going to be that big. We are going to shrink it down. Let's go with G, bring this up. You want to go ahead and align your cube with the end right here. Let's go S for scale, S for scale across, and then S for scale kind of downwards here. And I'm going to go ahead with the edit mode. Let's take this face right here. We'll go E for extrude, and just scale this down just ever so slightly at the side so it's got a nice curve to it, and then E for extrude, and then you can do the same with this one. It doesn't have to be perfect, it's a little light. We'll go for the middle piece right here, E for extrude, S for scale. Just make sure you've got that nice little frame underneath, and this is where our emission is going to go. So E for extrude, bring it back. S for scale if needed. We're going to do two materials on this, so let's go with new material. The first one that we click will be the original, so let's go with grey back for this one. Make this kind of like a nice little silver kind of thing. You can go ahead and make it slightly metallic if you want to. Take that roughness down. Let's go with plus on the materials tab at the top. I want to assign new, and this will be emissions, so we'll call this EMI. switch out your principal BSDF under surface to emission. Let's go ahead and click assign on that one. And usually these lights are slightly yellow. Just by slight, so maybe about that much. If you want the exact same colour that I have, just type in the hex right here. So, once we've got that, if we go to the render, you can see that this is now an emission. I'm going to go ahead and go to object mode, right click shade smooth. Take the little stem that we made right here, and we could go ahead and go to the drop down menu, and you want to go with grey back for that one. So now we have the exact same tone on both objects. We'll take these two objects that we've just made, S for scale, bring this down, G, bring this across, and then we'll go G down. You can go ahead and make these smaller, S for scale, G just to bring these down. Usually the lights on billboards aren't perfect, so don't worry if yours isn't. We'll go ahead and angle this as well, just slightly, so alpha rotate on the axes, and you want to make sure that it sits and fits on top of the billboard as such. You can go ahead and test this out, see where the light's hitting. See, it's a little bit too much, so if it's pointing too much at the board, what you can do is rotate the actual light itself. And if you wanted to, you can also amend the emission strength, so you've got something like that. You can also make the stalk a little bit bigger as well. Let's see, so let's go S for scale, bring this up just a little bit, and then we can move the lamp. As such. So just go ahead and test this out as much as you need to. Alpha rotate. Have something like that. I think that's a little bit too much outwards. I'm going to go ahead and just take away the default light real quick, so we can see what we're dealing with. So I think that would work. Maybe some lights at the bottom as well. Let's go ahead, take these two lights that we've just made, press G, bring this across. I'm going to go ahead, shift D. Now if you press 1, it's going to go this way. If you press -1, it's going to go this way. So what I would say is maybe -5. You could do that. Let's see. Let's go -5 on this one. Shift D. -5. Don't forget to use your axes. Shift D. -5. Try and get all of these kind of central. So you can go ahead and box select these. Oops. Don't get the board itself. Press shift and click for anything that didn't select, and then just kind of move them to the middle. So now, with the lighting, you should have something like this. We could then go ahead and take these, shift D, alpha rotate. You're going to want to rotate on the X. Let's go 180. So you've got some underlighting right here. We can go G, bring this down. This is optional, this underlighting. If you don't want it, you don't have to have it. Just kind of sit and fit that there, and then you've got lighting either side of the billboard. So once you've got something like this, let's go ahead and select the lower ones right here. Let's go ahead and select the upper ones right here. We'll go shift D. You want to go alpha rotate and 180 again. Press G and sit and fit these on the opposite side as well. So now you've got something like this. So when we render, you've got this nice little lit board coming through right here, and this nice little lip border coming through right here. So let's go ahead and add a picture to this. So I currently don't have anything for an advertisement board, but what I can do is, let's go to shading tab, and you want to go ahead and add an image to this. So let's go add image texture right here. You want to go you can do this one of two ways. You can either connect this straight to surface, or you can put it in the printable BSDF. Go ahead and open a file, something that you want to use. So currently you can't see my folders. Let's go ahead and use one of my older projects on this. Oops, it's sideways. So you can go ahead and just amend that round if you wanted to. I do believe that there is a rotate, but if we go with alpha rotate, go 90 degrees, S for scale, and just scale it back in. You can go ahead, scale this down. There is a rotation, but the other problem is I've not experimented with it on this program as much as I should have, really. So I would say for the moment just rotate it round if it's the wrong way up. That's for scale. And the best thing about this as well is you can take this one, delete that, and then take this one and then just go ahead and shift D, duplicate this, and then alpha rotate with 180, and then just press J and bring it back in and sit and fit it to where you need it to be. Just about there. And that's just poking out the side there, isn't it? Bring that in. Make sure it's not clipping. Let's go with G on that side as well. Yeah. So there we have it. So if we go to layout and we go to the render tab, we should have something like this. So yeah, this is one of my oldest tutorials that I did. So the next thing is adding texture and making this look a little bit more lifelike. So what I'm going to do is, let's go ahead and go view. If you've still got your camera, align view, and then align camera to active view. We'll go with G, bring this back. Now, you'll notice at the bottom right here that the scenery kind of just, it runs out kind of thing. So go to your camera settings, go to lens, you should see clip start, clip end, and just go ahead and just pull that clip end out. Let's go with G and just move this background backwards a little bit. S for scale, and you'll see that it clips again right here. So go to your camera and just extend that meter at the back. So let's go ahead and split the atom real quick. And what I'm going to do is add some little trees and some little details to this. So as I said before, we're going to have two materials for the back for this cream, this offset cream. So what we're going to do, let's go to shading tab. I'm going to make a secondary offset cream. So what you want to click is, you'll see in the mid screen right here where the divide is, that you've got this kind of world symbol, slot 1, offset cream, which is the material we're using, the shield, and then next to it, it looks like there's two pieces of paper. You're going to want to click the new material right here. So now you'll get offset cream 001. We're going to go offset cream, and this is rust. So this will be a completely different tone. So this is now rust on here. And what we can do is, let's go to add. We'll go color ramp. Let's go let's color ramp, right. So color to base color right here. You're going to want to go ahead and add in, let's see, a noise texture. Now you remember before when I was talking about the hex, and how you can change the textures right here. So you're going to need that for the moment. So to get the hex, all you're going to do is, let's go down to, you've got offset rust and offset cream. So with this colour right here, you can see that you've got the hex right here. So what I'm going to do is take a photo of this little hex right here, and we'll go ahead and amend this to the opposite side. So I'm going to read it out to you guys. Let's go back to our prior material. So this one we were doing offset cream rust. Take this white right here on the colour ramp. You want to go ahead and amend this. So we'll take the hex right here. So the hex that we just made for the cream is CC B 9 A 7 FF. So now that should be the exact same tone as this one. Now you'll notice that there is a difference between the two colours right here, and that's because we have the black currently in here. So we're going to make this black kind of like a rust colour. So we go just about there and make that a little bit more yellow. I mean, you can add some more tones to this if you'd like. So now we've got this. So this is this nice little offset that we've got. So now we can scale this, make this a little bit bigger, maybe some rust, I don't know, some water damage has happened to it, something like that. I'm going to make this a little bit deeper actually. And then I'm going to pull the original colour over, just slightly. You can go ahead and experiment with different things on here. Go ahead and scale this up, scale this down. Maybe it's been neglected in some sort of way. So you've got that variation of tone right there inside. What you could also do to add a little bit of weathering is take this noise texture right here, shift D, place this at the bottom, and then go colour into your roughness. And what essentially this will do is it'll give this a little bit more of a texture. So maybe this one is a little bit more worn down than this one. To be honest with you, I might change the tone on this one. So let's go with from the offset cream to the offset rust. You know, you could kind of tell a story of this, that maybe these two pylons right here have been weathered, and the ones on the inside are pretty good because they've not really seen that much sun, or they've not seen that much weather. Alternatively, you could take this pylon on the outside, you could go ahead and change this to the offset rust, and then create a new material, and you could go offset rust 2. So now, instead of say like a cream or something like that, maybe this one, we could go with a deeper kind of rust. So you want that nice little variation in your project so that everything isn't uniform, so it looks like it's been worn down over time. The next thing that I would say that we could do with this is possibly add some trees in the background and stuff just to finish off the framing. So let's go to add, curve, and you should have sample tree generation. Now if you don't have this, don't panic. All you need to do is go on to edit, preferences, and I believe it's in extensions, and just type in tree. So you should have easy tree, sample tree generation. You're going to want the sampling tree generation. So let's take this off. Once you've got that, let's go to curve, sample tree generation, leave it where it is, because if you move this, this will disappear, the options right here. So go to geometry at the top, go to leaves, and click show leaves, and now you have this nice little tree with leaves at the side. Now you can go ahead and leave that the way that you want to. Leave, no pun intended. Let's go ahead and press new for material. For your leaves, you're going to want kind of like a green, kind of make it dark just for a quick fix. and then you should have the tree itself and just make that brown. Since this is just a back piece, you don't have to make it super detailed, it's just kind of like bushes. So yeah, you can go ahead and press G, S for scale, and just kind of just do some gardening. Just press Shift D and move this to the side. Now obviously this is a clone of this one, so what you're going to have to do is rotate this round at a random angle so it looks like two completely different trees. Get that variation in your projects. Let's go with Shift D again. We'll bring this across. Shift D. Just go ahead and just place them in random places, I guess. Box selects. Shift, box selects. Shift D. Let's go and rotate those just to the background right there. I'm going to go ahead and take everything that I've just made and just pull it down to the floor as well. Let's get rid of that. Shift D, bring this down. You're essentially just making bushes in the back. Let's go ahead and take these ones again. Shift D and just make these big at the back. So now, show this nice little billboard and a little bit of surround. It doesn't look perfect, but it's just something that you can use. I think it's too much on one side and there's not enough at the back, so let's go ahead and rotate that one round again. Make that foliage a bit thicker. Yeah, that kind of works. And then I'm going to add a road. I'm going to do some, what is it called, tree surgery. Let's get rid of those. And let's add in a cube. Let's scale this out so we can make that nice little road at the side. Doesn't have to be perfect. Say about there. Bring this down. G, bring this up. You're gonna want this so your foundation kind of shows through a little bit. And then I'm going to take the base plate that we made originally down so you can see that nice little curve. Then let's go to edit mode. Control R, make a little loopy cut right there. This will be the edge of the curve or the sidewalk. E for extrude, just bring it up just ever so slightly. Let's take this, let's go to shading. We'll go new. You're going to want to add a noise texture. Where's my noise texture at? There we go. Alright, so colour to base colour. Stretch this up a little bit. Going to want a colour ramp in the middle. Let's add that colour ramp in. So now you've got this nice little kind of grey to black kind of tone. You can go ahead and scale that up a little bit just to give it some texture. Let's go back to layout. And now we should have this nice little billboard design. Nice little sidewalk curb, whatever you want to call it. Some trees, some foliage. Go ahead and add some trees at the bottom to make it look like it's got some stuff that's grown that shouldn't be. You've got this nice little kind of rust look going down the side. Looks like it's been weathered a little bit. Yeah, I think that's it for today. Yeah, if you guys liked, please subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. Cheers. Okay, welcome to the next Blender tutorial. So today we are creating a little bunny. So what I'm going to do is let's go ahead and I'll take the default cube and I'll just delete this one. We're just going to make a basic mock-up kind of thing. So let's go with the UV sphere to begin with. Right click, shade smooth, G to bring this up. And all I'm going to do is let's go for the edit mode real quick. 1 for side view, X-ray. We'll take the base right here and we'll just go ahead and scale this outwards and scale this downwards for the legs. And let's go ahead and take the hips right here, S for scale, bring this outwards and just bring this down kind of thing a little bit. I'm just going to go ahead and take this row right here, scale in, and then just kind of go ahead and scale that out so you've got this nice little blob going on. So once we've got this is going to be the body. So let's go ahead and just right click, shade smooth. We'll go ahead and make this into a nice little kind of chrome pink. Let's make this super shiny, take the roughness down, and we'll go ahead and make the feet real quick. Let's go to add. We can go with UV sphere again. Oops, not that one, that icon. Let's go UV sphere. Just stretch these out as such, just nice little cartoony feet. Scale them in and scale them down as such as well. And if you wanted to, you could go with side view right here. Go to edit view. Make sure that your X-ray is on. Let's go S for scale, select these ones, and just round off the bottom of the feet just here, as such. Right click, shade smooth, you want to go with the same pink. And then I'm going to go ahead and take the end right here, so let's go with view, and we could go with viewpoint and right. Let's go with edit mode. I'm going to go ahead and take all of these on the side and kind of just squish them in as such, and then I'm going to go ahead and get 2 cylinders on the back of the feet right here. So let's go with add cylinder, scale it down, G, bring this up, scale it across, down, right click, shade smooth, G, and bring this up. Let's go ahead and make that pink as well. You know what, actually I'm going to make this a little bit smaller and then pull the foot upwards. Come on. Okay, got this nice little cute thing going on. So once we've got that, let's go ahead and take these two, let's go with G first to move it across. Shift T, duplicate, across onto the opposite side. Make sure these two are relatively in the middle. As such, we will do, let's go with a head. So let's just go UV sphere with a head. G, bring this up. Right click, shade smooth. Let's take off that X-ray just for 2 seconds so we can see what's going on. And then we're going to do the ears. So let's go with UV sphere again. G, bring this up. Scale this outwards. Scale this flat. Let's go to the sculpt mode. You just want to go ahead and just kind of make a nice little fold coming in this way, and a nice little fold coming in this way. Yeah, make it a little bit more flatter at the top, maybe a little bit more depth here. Let's go minus. Let's go in just slightly there. Okay, so object mode, let's go right click, shade smooth, scale this down. I'm going to go with a smooth modifier with this one. Let's go with smooth. Just go ahead and just kind of make that smooth as you can. Let's go with G, place this down. R for rotate. G across. One little ear there. Let's go shift D. And you can do kind of like odd ears if you wanted to. Okay, so we've got this little ears going on. Let's go ahead and we could add Another UV sphere. Let's go with G. Bring this up. S for scale. G, bring this forward. This will be kind of like a little nose. Right click shade smooth. We'll put this as a black material. Just as such. And then I think for the arms, what we can do is, let's go with a circle. Start with a circle to begin with. G, bring this up. Go across with this, S for scale. G, bring this up, across. S for scale, just kind of make it like a nice little arm. We can go with edit mode, F for fill, E for extrude, and then all I'm going to do is just press G and just bring this across. And G just to bring this down as well. So S for scale right there. G, bring this across. E for extrude. S for scale. G, bring this across. And then go up again. E for extrude. S for scale. And then bring this across. And then finally just kind of like go ahead and just place that up against there. As such. Let's go right click shade smooth. Let's add that pink to it. Let's go ahead and take this head right here. Let's shift D. G, bring this across. S for scale for a little hand. And then we'll take these two, shift D, move this across, and we'll then, you can mirror this by the Y. I believe this will be the Y. Mirror by Y. Or you can just rotate it. It's fine. 180. And then stick it on the other side. And that should be our little bunny done. Let's go ahead and add plane, S for scale. Hopefully all this is pink. Let's go pink, pink, pink. Should be pink. This one should be pink. Okie dokie, I think that's right. Let's see. I think we're going to need a little bit more lighting on here. So I'm just going to go ahead and add cube. G, bring this across here. G, bring this across. And then just go ahead and make this an emission. So principal BSDF emission. And then we'll add a couple of these for reflections. Hopefully it reflects. Let's get rid of this initial light. Switch from EV to cycles. That's kind of cute. Let's go with G, bring this floor up a little bit. I'm going to go ahead and rotate these round. So slightly in front of the model. Let's go ahead and make some at the back. Just as such. And I'm going to go ahead and just place the background as white. So I think we're going to need some eyes on here as well. So let's go ahead and just go back to the render. Take the nose, shift D, G, bring it back. Some little eyes. And just at the side right there. Okay, I think that's done. Little bunny rabbit. Make this floor. Let's go with this. Just to pop some of those colours a little bit. And then I'm going to assign camera, so let's go with align view, camera to view. G, just bring this back. Then let's go to depth of field, focus on the bunny, and just pull that f-stop and maybe lower that ratio just for the backdrop right there. You don't want too much ratio, but you just want enough. Okay, cool. So that is our little bunny rabbit basic creation. You can go ahead and add some more lights in there if you wanted to. If you wanted that a little bit more brighter, I think we should select one of these. Let's go ahead and just up the lighting on that. And you can choose two of them and then go Shift D, bring these up, and we can go alpha rotate. Gotta give some backing light as well. Yeah, nice little bunny rabbit. If you're just creating for the first time. Yeah, so if you like this tutorial, please like, subscribe. I would really appreciate it. I'm trying to get to 100,000 at the moment. So yeah, enjoy your day, and yeah, bye bye. Okay, welcome to the next Blender tutorial. So today we are going to be making a glass teddy bear. So it's going to be a basic kind of thing to make, just to get you started with Blender if you're doing so. So we're going to go ahead and delete the default cube and go ahead into the corner and click your render engine from Eevee to Cycles. So what primarily we're going to start with is, let's go ahead and start with, we'll go with a UV sphere. Let's go with G, bring it up, S for scale, we'll make this quite big. What I'm going to do is, let's go into side view, which is 1. Oops, come on. There we go. Okay, side view, which is 1. Let's go ahead and go to edit mode. You're going to go and click toggle X-ray at the top. Edit mode's also at the top in the top left corner. So let's go into the X-ray mode, which is on the top right corner right here. And we're going to go and select maybe the bottom faces right here. So let's go S for scale. Hold down your center scroll. And you just want to go ahead and squish this down just as such. So let's go S for scale again. So you can have this flat if you wanted to, say like if you were, I don't know, maybe if you printed this or something, it could sit flat, but I would have a slightly curved kind of backside to your bear. Oh my gosh, I need a new mouse, look at this. I can't even select things. It's kind of freaking out. There we go. Right, okay, so let's select this. My gosh. I think I need to go and rummage in my box for a different mouse. Yeah, so S for scale. Press G, move this downwards. And then we're going to do the exact same to the top. My gosh, this mouse really doesn't like this. What's going on? I'm just going to try and clean the sensor off a minute. That's a bit awkward. Right, okay, so, oh, that seems to have worked. Right, okay, so let's go ahead and just scale this down as well. And then what I'm going to do is take the entire thing, so let's press A, and then I'm just going to go ahead and elongate this just ever so slightly, so that we've got this nice kind of neck, and then we've got the butt parts, and then we'll add the feet here and the arms here and stuff. Okay, so let's go with object mode. We're going to take this, right click shade smooth, and let's go ahead and we'll select a cylinder. Let's go with G, bring this across, alpha rotate. If let's go with 90 to begin with. I'm just going to go for front view, which should be 1. So there we go. Right, let's go ahead and split the atom here. And then we've got the side view and the front view. So let's go with G to bring this up, S inwards, and then we'll go ahead and just move this to one side. Let's go for right click shade smooth, edit mode, take the X-ray off just for the time being. We'll take this first face at the back, E for extrude, bring this back, S for scale, and just kind of tuck this in right here. We'll go for Control R, make a loop cut, S for scale, just kind of plump this up a little bit. We'll take the front right here, and this is the part where we're going to make the little paw. So we can go E for extrude, bring this outwards, S for scale. Don't worry if it's not quite the shape that we need it to be just for the moment. We will amend this. Let's go S for scale, bring this in as such. E for extrude, S for scale, E for extrude, and then we'll go E for extrude again, S for scale, bring it in, and then E for extrude, leave it where it is, and then S for scale, bring it in, and then this will be the center bit. Now I'm going to amend the side to this, so let's go with where's my view? Right, there we go. Right, view, we're going to go with viewpoint, and we'll go to the right, I think. Okay, so box select all of this that you've just made. As I said, we'll be making amendments. We're going to go S for scale, plump this out, G, bring this across. And all I'm going to do is, let's go ahead and box select this part right here. We'll go with G, and we'll just move this upwards. So we've got this nice little foot going on. And I'm just going to go ahead and scale this down just ever so slightly. And what you want to do is make sure this sits and fits with the rest of the model. So if you press A, G, bring this up. So this sits nice and flat right here. We'll go with G and bring this down just ever so slightly. So now we have this little foot going on. Now we can amend this later on, don't worry about it. So we'll go with Shift D, and we can move this across onto the opposing side. So now we have two little legs for our bear as such. And for the arms we can do something similar actually. So we'll go ahead and we'll take a cylinder again. Let's press G and bring this up. And what I'm going to do, let's rotate this round to 90 degrees. Let's go ahead and press G, bring this down. I'm going to have some big arms on this one, let's see. Maybe about there. I've got S for scale, just scale this down a little bit. Let's go into the edit mode. We'll do the exact same as what we did before. So take the end face, E for extrude, S for scale, bring this in, G, bring this across, and then we will have this side right here. We can go ahead, Control R for loop cut, S for scale. Let's make that a little bit more plump. Let's take this front face right here. I'm just going to go and let's go with G to bring it forward, S for scale. And then we're going to go E for extrude. Let's put this on the right so you guys can see. Where's my right? Okay, so we can see that we've got the arm right through here because we've got the X-ray mode on. We're going to go E for extrude, bring this forward. You scale this down just ever so slightly if you want to, but we can go E for extrude again, S for scale, E for extrude, S for scale, E for extrude, and then we're going to go ahead with E for extrude again, S for scale. I think I might actually move this arm upwards just a little bit, and then E for extrude, and then we can do S for scale, just kind of bring in that little paw look just about here. And then we'll do E for extrude and just bring it in just there, just to kind of make that a bit more round. Right click shade smooth. I'm going to go ahead and just amend this and bring this up, and then bring this in just ever so slightly. So this nice little teddy bear kind of thing going on. Let's go ahead and take this and Shift D, move this to the side. Now, you'll probably have noticed something with this. It's probably going to be the wrong shape for the body. So we're going to go ahead and rotate this on the y-axis by 180. So that turns that piece around. And I think the leg piece is actually fine. We could go right click and let's go mirror. And we were doing Y, weren't we? Oh, let's go mirror again. Try again. And do Y on the opposite side. Should be fine. Rotate that by 180. I think if it sits, it fits. Gonna be honest with you. For that side, it kind of bulges a little bit. Actually, it might be fine. I think that's right, yeah. Okay, so, it kind of looked a bit weird. We're going to make the head. So let's go ahead with an add. You can go with a cylinder or you can go with UV sphere for this. I think UV sphere is probably going to do it better. Let's go with G. Bring this up. S for scale. And what I'm going to do with this one, let's go to the right side. Viewpoint and right. There we go. Alright, so we're going to do the exact same thing that we did for the body, but we're going to squish the head inwards. So let's go ahead with the edit mode. Toggle X-ray so that you can see everything. Let's go ahead and select the faces on this side. It doesn't have to be perfect. And then Shift, select the faces on this side, and we'll just press S and kind of squish this in just a little bit more. And then what I'm going to do is, let's go ahead, you know what, I'm going to undo that one and just squish it in manually, I think. So let's press A to select everything, squish it in manually, as such, and then we'll kind of use this base right here. Let's go with scale, just try and scale these outwards a little bit. So, if I can get this front view, maybe we can select these ones, squish it down, just ever so slightly, G, squish it down again, G. So essentially you just want to kind of elongate the head as such, and then I'm going to take this line right here and then press S for scale and just kind of bring this in, and then let's go Shift R, roll the center scroll of your wheel. And then we should have a head that's roughly like this. I'm going to go ahead and just kind of move that outwards a little bit. Press G, bring this down. Now, obviously, you can amend this to what you need it to be. So, right-click Shade Smooth. Let's go with scale down just ever so slightly. Oops. It's kind of a wonky kind of bear. Just going to move his head forward a little bit. Let's add the nose, so we can actually take this one. Let's go Shift D, move this across, S for scale, and then G, bring this forward so he's got a little nose going on. That's a nice little bear. And then what I'm going to do, just move that in. Let's make some ears. Let's take, I think, maybe. Let's go with Shift D. Duplicate this out again. Just go ahead and scale this down on the back, and then scale this down just as such. We can press G, and let's go ahead and rotate this just into the side right here. Scale it down again. You know what? I don't quite like that one. Let's go back. S for scale. Just scale it down into some little layers. It's kind of as such. Rotate this. And then we can go on the opposite side, and then we could kind of do the same. So let's go ahead and rotate this one by 180. And G, bring this in. So now we've got these nice little two ears going on. We could add some eyes. Let's go with two UV spheres. So UV sphere, right click Shade Smooth. G, bring this up. G, bring this forward. We have a Cyclops. Let's go S for scale. And just bring this one across and bring it forward so that we can see it. And then we can go ahead and Shift D. And do the same on the opposite side. So now we have this basic premise of a bear. A nice little basic build for those of you starting out. So what I'm going to do is let's go ahead and add some materials. So we'll take this and we'll go Shift D and we'll just make it a little brother. And then we can go Shift D again and we can just make another one right here. And then I'm going to go ahead and add a plane in here, so S for scale. Now obviously this is a basic bear for people just starting out with Blender and stuff, but it's basic premise that you can build on. So you can go ahead and amend certain things and do different things as well with this. So let's go ahead and take that X-ray off real quick and put this on some materials. Right, okay, so we're going to need some materials right here, and I'm going to go ahead and align the camera actually to our view. So let's align view right here. Now you'll notice that the background's kind of gone a little bit darker at the back. All it is if you go to the camera settings, you just need to go to clip start, clip end, and just extend the end. So let's go ahead and scale that one out, and yeah, let's put some materials on here. So our first bear, we can go with material. If you wanted just a general stereotypical kind of looking bear, we could go with a brown, and we could go and increase the roughness. I guess if that's what you'd like. So let's go to this drop down right here with the brown, and we'll go to, let's call this brown. So brown bear. We'll amend this afterwards, don't worry, it's not going to be like this. Let's go with brown as well, and then the nose can be black actually, we'll change that. Let's go for brown again. Just click, go down to the drop down, brown, 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 you know. Okie dokie. So once we've got the brown on here, we now need the black. So let's go new. We'll call this black. And we'll just put this as a shade of black. And then for the nose, I mean, you could use the exact same black. So, oh, did I get the wrong material there? Oh, I did. Let's get rid of that material. Let's get onto the black one that we were supposed to be having. Okay, so now we have this bear. We can go into the viewport shading right here, and we can add some texture. So if we take the little bear that we've just made, and we go to the noise, so add noise texture right here, we could go ahead and add color to base color. Oops, sorry, wrong one. Let me just restart that one. We should be on the brown. There we go. Not on the black. Let's go to add noise. Noise texture right here, color to base color. Now you'll notice that the tone goes away. So we need to add a color ramp, spelt the American way. In here, let's go to our selection on the color wheel. And we can kind of make this nice kind of textured brown bear. Like a cartoon kind of thing. And let's go ahead and add this noise texture as well. So Shift D to the base right here, color to, you can go metallic or roughness, totally up to you. But now we have this nice little bear. We can get a bump node in here, just between the noise texture and the metallic that we've just made, and place the colour into the height. So now this will give us a little bit more texture. So the next bear that we could do, let's go ahead and we'll go with new. We'll name this material as glass. If this is maybe like some sort of bear that you put onto your cabinet or something fancy. So we need to change this principal BSDF right here to glass BSDF. So go into the materials, change principal BSDF right here under surface and go to glass. So now this will be a glass, and automatically this is changed right here. We'll turn down the roughness, and if we go to the render right here, you can see that we now have a glass headed bear, and we've got the brown bear sat right next to it. I'm going to amend that lighting really quick actually, because I don't believe that looks correct. So I've got 3 lights just behind the bears right here. I'm just going to go with G, bring this forward and bring this up, and then increase the exposure just a little bit. There we go, so we can see the bears now. Let's go Shift D and move this across as well. So now we've got the back of the bears and we've got the front of the bears. So you can see that we have our brown bear, we have the glass bear right here, and then we're going to make the secondary bear right here. So for your glass bear, let's go to the body right here, go to the drop down, click glass, go to the drop down again, click glass, and just do this for each and every part of your bear. Let's go with glass there. Let's go with glass there. And then don't forget the nose and the eyes. So you can actually change the colours and the tones of the glass actually, which is really neat. So if we go to this right here, we can see now we have the normal bear, the glass bear. So let's go ahead and mess around with some of the settings on the glass bear. So you can see that I can make this bear pink, I can make this bear blue, green, whatever tone that you would like. But what I really want to kind of experiment with here is, let's go to add and we'll go with color ramp. Oh gosh, I spelled it the British way, hold on. There we go, color ramp. So color to color. So now you have this black and white kind of bear. Now if you bring the whites closer to the black, the lighter the bear is. If you bring the black in, the darker it gets. So we could go ahead in the middle and add in a pink. If you wanted that, you could go ahead and move that across. Just make that a little bit lighter. We could go ahead and add in, let's see, I'm going to go with a blue actually. Let's see what happens here. Come on. Right, let's move the blue across towards the white. And we could kind of make this kind of weird double-toned kind of bear right here. It's kind of purple. Depending on where you'd like to put your stuff. I'd say just mess around with it and just see what you can make. So you could have something like that. If you wanted to, you could amend the tones as well. Like make it kind of aqua, kind of blue, green, or whatever you need. So that's that bear. And then for this third bear, I think we'll do some patterns on this one. So let's go ahead and we'll click new. So this is the patterned bear. We'll call him Pat. Let's go ahead and add in a texture, and we could go with Veroni. Veroni's nice. Let's go with color to base color, and we get this kind of patchwork kind of look. Let's go with add, and we'll go color ramp. And now we kind of have this black and white bear. You can go ahead and amend this tone if you wanted to. So we could have, you know, we could have like, what do they call it? The green stuff that the army uses, camo. I couldn't think then. You could kind of have a camo bear. This is so cool. So let's go plus. I just remembered that the setting actually exists. So yeah, you could make a camo bear, which is pretty neat. Let's go ahead with another tone right here. We could go, I don't, forgive me if I'm getting the wrong tones here, like, you know, but yeah, this is kind of cool. So let's put Pat in on every single setting. And if you wanted to, you could make the eyes black again if you wanted to. Totally up to you. Is that a nice little patterned bear? Okie dokie, so I'm going to make the eyes black on this one. So we can go to black. Go to drop down and go black again. Maybe we could do this with the glass bear as well. Okay, so we got some nice little basic bears going on for the people who are maybe just starting out with Blender, or maybe you're not, maybe you're a little bit more through it, but yeah, it's a nice little task to make, and it's great for materials and stuff like that. Excuse me. If you like this tutorial, please like, subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. Bye. If you're interested in anything past Blender, I'm also a published author. I write novels, I write puzzle books, self-help books, all that kind of stuff. I don't have many copies with me at the moment to show you guys, but I have plenty on my Amazon that you can explore, and I also have plenty on my Google accounts that you can explore. Yeah, so if you like this tutorial, please like, subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. Have a great day.